Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Boys from the Baltic Star. You join us, it's Friday, and I must admit, we are very excited. That's a very early Team Yana, Ben, getting in my way of my really professional introduction. You've ruined it for all of us. There she is, look. Are you happy now? Are you happy?
Passing happy, thank you.
Okay, good, I'm glad. If you're happy, I'm happy. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. If it's your first time, you are incredibly welcome. Thank you for giving us a go, and we'll go for, I don't know, 2.5, that usual sort of amount of time. Feel free to come and go as you want. There's lots of options online and in life. So, thank you for giving us a few minutes, if at all. There'll be a break around halfway through or something where there's a chance to recharge your glasses. When we come back after the break, we have the very important toast, which I believe Ben is still the master of this week, which
Mhm.
is fantastic. Um, we pride ourselves, pride is wrong, of course, but we pride ourselves in a positive way on being a friendly and welcoming and incredibly unprofessional stream. So please, 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 if you wish, feel free to chat. We will interact with you in chat. We have some regulars that may be around at some point who will chat as well. So don't be afraid of joining in or just talking amongst yourselves and ignoring us. Or feel free to lurk. We love our lurkers. Twitch is built on lurkers, and so that's absolutely groovy. If you click this little red sun here, which is in a different place on my screen to everyone else, you can spend some points, of course, the Imperial credits. Anything that's sort of that darky pink will have some sound connected to it. There's a lot. There's a dizzying array, I believe the phrase is. The expensive ones will make a difference, especially. So you could name an NPC, and they will become canon. And we're big on canon in this channel. You can get us a boon, which we always very much appreciate. There's even things like Stefan's sneaky masterclass. He has to steal something there and then, and every time it happens, it totally pings the game in a different direction. So that's quite fun. Um, you can make Ben resplend, which is always a joy. You can make one of us clonk someone or something. So have a flick through, see what you like. One very important one costs only one Imperial credit, and that is I'll drink to that. We keep it one credit because there's times when we want to sort of toast something or agree to something, and it's nice that we keep that as one single credit so anyone can join in if they want to. So that's all that. That's all that. Um, we're playing Traveller, which is our regular Friday science fiction roleplay game. It's a classic game. We're playing the Mongoose Second Edition, and we're into our third season. It's still relatively early in the third season, and Ben's sort of catch-up bits at the start are so good that you'll feel like you've been watching us forever just by listening to this one. He's he's got a poetic mind and a poetic soul, and the body of a gymnast. He's all those things. He's like a poetic gymnast combined. Um, so, if that's what we're doing this evening, I suppose I better introduce all of us so we can forget me and look towards our referee. So, my name's Luke in the tiny bottom right hand corner. Hello. Teams won't fix it and make me bigger. It's very upsetting. So, I'll just make do with my little space. I play two characters in this wonderful tale. Two members of the Baltic Star. I play Kara and I play Soraya. Kara is our sort of our chatty uh, computer hacker, artist, trader, carouser kind of character. Good with fists, bad with just not dying if she's shot. So we need to be careful about her. Soraya is a jack of all trades. She's sort of the Han Solo, I guess, of the crew. She spent a lot of time out by herself. She can do a bit of everything, a bit socially awkward, uh, and big fan of sports. So that's me and my two. If we jump two above, past this thing in the middle, and to this thing at the top, um, he is my brother from another mother. It is the delightful Ewan. Good evening, Ewan. How are you?
Hey, look, I'm very good, thanks. I'm excited to be back. It's been a while. It's been
Ah,
2 weeks, right?
just missing 1 week feels like a lot to me.
Yeah, precisely, precisely. So I'm very excited, especially after the cliffhanger. Classic Ben cliffhanger.
You like the cliffhanger because it doesn't directly affect you.
Not this one.
No, not this time. It's normally you. Normally I like the cliffhangers. Not this time. Who do you play in this sordid tale of space?
It's a very good question, Nick. I play Stefan Miller, who I suppose is the Chewie to Soraya's Han Solo. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but you've said it now, so it's canon.
His chest is getting a bit furrier. We remember.
Yeah, that is very true. Who is our dexterous sneaky space rogue. And I also play Agnar Arnson, who is actually more like the Chewie, because he's covered in fur and a Varga. Former military general with a bit of medic and some military tactics, and doesn't hold up very well under interview, as it turns out. Every time it crumbles. It's mostly me being reflected in him, but it works well, I think.
He's a man of many strengths, but not totally putting his crewmates into the mess. But by answering a question is not one of those strengths.
He's not Jar Jar Binks.
That's
not canon.
Yeah, he has a touch of the Jar Jars about him. It's feeling quite canonical as it goes. We'll see how the evening goes.
We need to do a spin-off.
Oh, no.
Absolutely right.
Even if it's just a graphic.
The man who is going to hold all this together, who can pretty much push Agnar into Jar Jar Binks-esque capers, is our referee. He's the smartest man in any room. He lives his entire life in the Twin Peaks dream sequence, and he is single-handedly keeping the black t-shirt companies going with his wardrobe. Me as well, to be honest. I can't put it between you and I. We keep it. And you, it's like, yes. It looks like we're working backstage at RADA or something. I don't know, pulling the curtains and changing the furniture around. It is our wonderful referee and a splendid man. It's Ben. Good evening, Ben. How are you?
Good evening. I'm very well, thank you, Luke. Very well. Much looking forward to this evening. And I suspect if the schedule works out, this evening will lead into your first actual trial race next time. That'll be my guess.
Oh, I thought you were going to say trial then. I was really worried for Stefan.
That's the week after for Stefan, I think.
Can we not mention trials anymore, please?
Oh, no. I don't know. They're closing in. You and I can sense it. They got a taste for blood.
Yeah. But the race
Varga
is
blood,
exciting.
particularly.
Yeah, especially.
Yes, I'm very excited about the race.
Me too. Not that you could be on it.
No, that's why I'm excited.
Apparently. Oh, just waving them off into near certain death.
Yeah.
Leading from the back like a true general.
Quite right too.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. So, shall we get started?
Yes.
Yes, let's do it. Do it.
Our travellers have secured the opportunity to try out for places on one of the Pelago team's extremely fast craft. This relies on them competing in one or more practice races over the next 2 days. If they're successful, there may be up to 4 crew positions available. Of course, Agnar took the opportunity to make sure he got some very good seats, both luxurious and far behind the point of danger, as befits a former general. His seat, it seems, is courtesy of an old friend, Olivia Sharp, who has volunteered to help the local law enforcement, notably investigator Brina Locke, with the investigation into the violent incidents at the Cascade. Meanwhile, Soraya and Stefan, wanted fugitives since the stabbing of Anton Fess and the spate of potential poisonings, had to briefly evacuate their room in the inn while the automatic cleaning process takes place. They took the opportunity to do some sneaky reconnaissance of the area around the inn itself, and for the most part were very successful. Stefan even did a bit of low-level larceny, in case anyone thought his skills were getting rusty. On their return, however, Stefan made it safely back to the room, but Soraya found, as she peered into the long corridor of the inn, a shadowy figure in silhouette at the other end of the hallway. And that is where we resume the story.
Can I just quickly point out that anybody who was questioning our unprofessionalism, that would have been a really good segue, except that Luke and I leaned into it a little bit too much, because we didn't know what Ben was going to say, and we just took all the stuff that he was going to say and said it before him.
Such is life.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Oh, Ben. Have I come through the?
Ben.
Have I come through the door, the escape door? I can't remember.
No, you have not come through the door. You are currently in the sort of stairwell bit at the end of the hall, and you were peering through the door discreetly.
There's a glass window, wasn't there, in the door? So,
exactly.
Yes.
Cool.
Does it have those little metal squares in, so it looks like one of those like school escape doors or something? They're good then. If only I was with Kara, who had starlight drops, I could see so clearly now. But sadly not. So I was going to freeze, rather shocked and surprised at this. There's going to be a lot of things going through my mind. One is, who is it, first of all? But also she's working back in her mind about whether she was followed. Working out that, because she had to go through the front door, of course, to get in. But she went up the far end. She went up through the escape. So it's not necessarily someone that would have followed her to her floor. So it could just be a random. If it's someone, then it's someone that's sort of properly looking or knows already. She wouldn't know how Stefan got in, but if anyone's going to go about things in a sneaky manner, of course, given one of his master classes, it would be Stefan. So rather than immediately shooting the person dead and worrying about it afterwards, she is going to hide like a small schoolgirl, like cowering in the corner with one little beady eye poking through the window to see if the figure moves a little closer.
Okay. Can you roll a streetwise check for me, please, with intellect in this case?
I will. I'm using my new dice tray. It's very exciting, like I had for the convention. So I'm a bit worried that it's going to affect the dice, though. This is a bit of a worry. Adding the layer of fake bays or whatever it is going to be a problem. What'd you say? Yeah. Intellect plus streetwise?
Yes, please.
Okay. Intellect plus streetwise. There is 1, 2. So plus 2. Oh no! It has effect. It's gone. 5.
Okay.
Oh, those dice were so good before.
I know. It's been ruined by this stupid dice tray.
In the moment it takes you to sort of pick your spot and crouch down and sort of peer back through the glass, the figure appears to have slipped your notice and disappeared.
While keeping an eye. Oh. If they've seen me, they might be trying to come up behind. So I've not got long. The realistic thing Soraya would do is, while peeking down the corridor, she'll get on her burner device and call Stefan's little burner device, if that's okay.
Of course.
Stefan, who's playing on his other, whatever it was that he got, tech level 13, anonymous communicator, suddenly hears a ringing and fumbles it, throws it, drops it to the ground, and picks up the other phone from the pocket of his high-vis jumpsuit that he's still got on, waiting to show Soraya how productive his time's been. Answers it. Hello, yes. How did you get this number? Who is this?
Hello there. I'm from the local shop. I got your number from a friend of yours. Said you needed maybe penis enhancement.
He hangs up.
Oh, Soraya, why can you not resist the urge to prank?
I like to think at this point, though, he's probably still got it in his hand, waiting for it to ring again. Might not be true.
Soraya's going to make sure the corridor's empty and ease her way through the door and drop down low in front of the door, if that makes sense. So if someone came up from behind and looked through,
Yep.
they wouldn't be able to see her.
You'd be below the window, yes.
Yes,
Gotcha.
please. And then she calls Stefan again.
Yes, hello.
Hey, it's me, Soraya. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. Have you been giving this number out to people? Someone from the local shop called.
Only a
I
few.
don't know what kind of shop.
Only a few people. Oh, I went in like at this sex shop, and
Oh,
I think I
yeah,
gave your number to like. There's this place that does like strawberry milk, like fish milk. It's like a takeaway place. They've got your
That
number now.
sounds horrid.
Oh man, tell me about it. And there's some guy who said he's like well trustworthy and he wanted friends. He's got your number now as well, but he thinks your name's Juan, so you might be all right. But anyway, were you followed?
No, I wasn't followed. There was somebody. I saw someone out in the street who was. It's a long story. I think they were probably a little bit put off by the way I was dressed, or curious about the way I was dressed,
Why?
walking into this building.
How are
But they
you?
were definitely having a little look.
How are you? You're not dressed in one of your like big shimmery catsuits again, are you? From back in the day?
No, no, no. I haven't even got the ski suit on.
Oh man, Cara's gonna be upset.
No.
Because there's someone in the corridor. I've just entered the corridor on our floor, but I came up the other like the fire escape, and when I came out there was a shadowy figure. And when I looked, I sort of fumbled a bit, and when I looked, they were gone. But it could just be some random, but you know, with the way things are, paranoia is a healthy thing.
Ben, sorry, above
Hmm?
game quickly. You correct me if I'm wrong, but we took longer than the 15 minutes, didn't we?
Yes.
How long after the 15 minutes, give or take? It doesn't have to be exact, is it?
By the time you'd done your lap around and back, I'm reckoning the whole thing probably took the best part of an hour.
Okay. He'll say so. So yeah, so I mean, we've been gone longer than just nipping in and nipping out for those 15 minutes, but I suppose most people that stay here don't necessarily want to stay in the room the whole time. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe these places are full of people hiding from other people, whether it be the law or criminals. But realistically, it could just be someone coming and going.
You're right. It's just going to be some random minute, but you know, I just wanted to tell you, you know, and I just wanted to check. I'm gonna head into the room, but I'm gonna make double sure that everything's clear first, if that's okay with you.
Yeah. There's no one in the corridor, right?
I don't think so. Looking down the length of the corridor, that's still empty, right, Ben?
It appears to be.
Looking up at the window, like from my height, does there appear to be a shadow that's fallen across it while I've been there?
Oh, good question. I'll tell you what. Can you roll, under the circumstances, a recon check? You can have a boon for this.
Thank you very much.
And with intellect or education, your choice.
Free boon.
I'm gonna allow that since you were paying significant attention to that window, you were paying attention throughout your conversation, not just in that moment you glanced up at the end.
Yeah, because I'm nervous about both ways, either being too right. So recon is a -1 for me. Intellect, you say, is a +1. So I'm rolling flat with a boon.
It's not a bad place to be.
That is all right. That is a A 6, a 4, and a 1, which is a 10.
Okay.
Good dealing. And the 6 was the cold dice, so that means that was the boon dice. Yes.
Excellent.
That was being subbed in.
You obviously, from your position, you couldn't exactly see through said window. You were hiding below it, but at a certain point, you would have noticed a little flicker of a shadow cross it.
Has it moved on? Is it gone from mine too?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Okay. Quick question, Ben. Sorry to butt in. Do we have a window in the room?
Not a functional window. There is a vid screen that can show you images of nicer places to be, but not a real window.
Okay, cool.
There's a lot of nicer
fine.
places to be, that's for sure. Hey, Crit, thank you for joining us, man. How are you keeping? Are things okay your end?
Hey.
Absolute pleasure to have you with us for a few, man. Hope things are good for you. We missed you last week. You didn't come and join us for our actual physical role playing. Very disappointing.
Yeah. I feel that's somewhat unreasonable, Luke.
I half
All
expected
things considered.
I half expected him to come barging in while I was GMing or something, and then say, "Right, I've got a minute of wisdom for you," with some randoms that have no idea what's going on.
Well, when you put it like that, actually, I would have very much approved that.
That would have been excellent.
It's in his wheelhouse, that sort of behaviour. Telegram. That's what I like. You're not the queen. Very fancy.
We need more telegrams. Can we bring them back?
They're quite fun. Someone's running up to you in the middle of something while you're doing something. I like it.
Singing ones, especially.
Now you're talking. Okay. Soraya's carefully, before she moves on, going to, after hanging up, take her device and find where the camera part of it is, and if there is one on it, you can tell me if there is one on it. And
There's a perfectly viable camera.
And sort of hold it up to the corner of the window, and sort of look into the screen, almost like a periscope.
Okay, I see what you're doing. You're almost doing a selfie, but through the window.
Exactly.
Okay, can you roll for me a stealth check, please?
Oh.
With Dex.
Oh no. Stealth with Dex. Oh, I was hoping you could say something else positive then. You sort of said it as if it wasn't the last thing in your sentence. Very disappointing.
Like I was going to say, with triple boon.
Yeah, all the boons you need. But this is very easy.
Take it as 2 6s.
Well, 1 6. Flat 8, 0 and 0 on my Dex 0 and Stealth 0.
You stick the phone up into the sort of corner of the glass, and look at the image that it's displaying. There doesn't seem to be anyone visible.
Okay.
But you do hear a bit of a noise, like a door closing or opening, or possibly it could be from the corridor upstairs or downstairs. You know, it's nothing in itself that's particularly notable, but a bit of a noise as you do it.
If there's nothing immediate, can I just quickly ask a question? The doors, Ben, are they flush with the wall, or do they sit back, or do they sit forwards, or? From Stefan's point of view, if he was to open the door, would it be visible that the door was open?
Yes,
from
it
along
would.
the corridor.
Yeah, if you open the door, you'd be able to tell. And not only would you potentially be able to spot the door opening, the lights in this place are somewhat automated, so there's every chance light would also spill out onto the corridor.
Okay, no worries. He won't open the door then. Just in case. He trusts Soraya.
Unfortunately, I've got too many things to test out my new undercrackers, my special stealth pants. Whatever they are. So instead, I will either count that as someone moving on to another floor, or that I've got only a few seconds to make my move. Luckily, we're like the second door. We're close to the end, aren't we? We're close. So
Yes.
I'm going to make my move at that point. Not noisily, but as noiselessly as possible towards our door and in.
Okay. If you want to move as quietly as possible, can you roll stealth with Dex for me, please?
I'd rather not. 5.
Okay.
Roller.
Tension and a little bit of discomfort from having been crouched for a while means that as you stand up, you sort of bump your elbow against the door, but it's not horribly loud, and you do then make your way fairly swiftly without too much noise along the corridor, and make it to the room door, and you can dive in if you want to.
Yes, please.
Okay, the two of you are reunited in the room. It is freshly clean.
You just hit me in the face with the door.
Oh, why would you? I know the room's small, but why are you standing behind the door?
I
Got
was
your ear to
thinking
it
about-
again?
Well, you said you're in the corridor. I was thinking about opening it and, making sure you're all right after the shadowy figure. I was trying to keep an ear out for you, but that was pretty stealthy, I have to say.
Even the shadowiest figure there could have been is not as shadowy a figure as you, Stefan. I feel like I've gone from the pan into the fire, into the belly of the beast itself in this room.
Just hope their recon roll was as bad as mine.
Whatever
that is.
Whatever that is. I know you have a funny way of words. How was your mooch? Did you find anything? Nice natty threads, by the way. Loving it.
Thanks.
You're looking pretty good. It's not your colour, and it's not really a style either, but it's a look. I like the helmet.
Puts on the hard hat, yeah.
Yeah, now you're talking.
Throws the boots over his shoulder and the toolkit. Toolkit over the other one. I got a job.
Ah, fantastic. As part of a novelty singing act?
What? I'm not sure I get the reference. No. I'm helping them construct some stands for the Pellegrin races. I mean, they're not paying me, but I'm showing up for 15 to half an hour every day.
Don't you think you've
wandering around and coming back?
You injured enough people on this planet since you've been back?
Well, okay. When I say helping them construct, I'm showing up. I spoke to someone today. They seem like they're in charge.
Yeah.
Of something. Yeah.
But don't give yourself away. Don't get carried away in this new life of yours. It's all a fallacy. We've got a real life, Stefan, that we need to get back to. Let's get on that Baltic Star. Swoof away.
Speaking of which, what is the plan? How do we get back there? What's our next move?
I feel like
assuming no shadowy figure knocks on the door in the next 5 minutes.
Oh, that's a whole different plan. I don't know, man. because of us sort of like turning off our devices, not hearing anything. We're not going to hear anything from our lot, but it's the only way to not be tracked. Um, we've got to assume, like, clearly people are looking for us, but you're going to go down for years unless you can prove yourself, prove that it was for a good reason. Even then, you're going to do time, right?
It's just so stupid.
Your heart was in the right place. Your heart was
I'm
in.
sorry.
Mine was in my
No, I'm
mouth.
sorry.
Yours was
It
in
was
your
a
right place.
ridiculous. It was a ridiculous decision. It felt like. Have you ever watched one of those films where a lot of ridiculous small things happen that on their own are completely irrelevant and inconsequential, and then you put them all together and it culminates in something that is much bigger than the sum of its parts? It feels like that.
Mm.
That mixed with some really poor decisions and a few beers. I'm sorry.
No, I
I'm
shouldn't have
sorry
thrown.
we're both in this situation.
I shouldn't have thrown a smoke bomb for no apparent reason.
Well, that's true. But I'm
Not,
still sorry.
we're in it together, aren't we? We're in it together, and it was the right thing, I
Well,
think, to get away from our
I
crew.
mean, you could still walk out of here and go hand yourself in, and you didn't do anything. You're a patsy.
A patsy, all right. What are you calling a patsy? You're a patsy.
No, I'm
Yeah.
not. That's the problem. If I was, it would be okay. Well, I'd feel better about it, I suppose.
I can't. I don't know. I don't know, man. What am I going to say? Kind of can't make things better for you, can I? Like, I can only put my side of the story across.
No, you can't. But I suppose it depends how much you trust in the system. In theory, you didn't do anything wrong. You throw a smoke grenade in a nightclub, which is probably frowned upon, but you probably only get a ban from the Cascade. It's not. I can't imagine there's a criminal offence in there.
To me, being banned from the Cascade is worse than doing time. That place is like Earth Park is to Agnar. You saw his little fuzzy face when we were kicked out and given a life ban. I don't think it's
Yeah,
ever been the same again since. I hear him whimpering in his sleep.
that's true.
He's never going to see his ancestors again.
But still, the good news is at the minute, as things stand, and I want you to think about this carefully as well, because if you're not found with me, you do not have any kind of reason to never return to Giikur again, which I know is important to you. It's the home of the geeks.
Up the geeks. So my team.
Yeah,
My team.
exactly.
God,
Which
yeah.
is why this is part of the reason I'm saying this.
It hurts me
And I
that
don't want to be responsible for you never being able to see a home game.
it hurts.
Is it a home game if you're jumping between?
Yeah,
Anyway,
it hurts me that all those great von Cotswolds that I love on that team, the history of the geeks, all think of me as a wrong and there I am. They'll be like this woman that played in the fan game just a couple of weeks ago that caught that ball in Dukes that vanquished the captain on the other side. I was the talk of the town. I was the belle of the ball. And now they just see me as a spicy wrong'un. Mm.
so why don't look? Why don't you go speak to the authorities? Tell them what happened. Well, tell them your story. Don't tell them everything that happened. Uh, and then surely you've got no poison on you, have you? You've got no poison in your stuff. You haven't touched any poison. Surely they'll do some sort of scientific forensic tests. I don't know. Agnar would know.
Agnar wouldn't know. Agnar would be the one.
You'd be all right.
I need to get the
Right?
story. I need to get the story straight though. I don't want to leave them to you.
Well, that's not a problem. Just tell him you came. Actually, no, it might be a problem because my DNA might be all over the place with the amount that I had to drink last night. Yeah, maybe don't tell him about this place. Maybe just say you went somewhere else. I don't know. I don't know what the play is. It's tricky.
It is. It is. We've got to get you out of it. Maybe, yeah.
I wouldn't worry about leading them to me. I'd be more worried about, if they thought you were hanging out with me, then it's guilt by association, isn't it?
There's very little time where we've been seen together, right? Thinking about it. We landed at night. We got to this place which is booked under me, so I can always
Yeah.
say that I came here.
Yeah.
Because through fear and panic and stupidity, they only saw me. I went on my own to the shops. I went on my own earlier today when you went on your own.
Yeah.
So I guess I just need to stay in contact with you somehow. But if they take me in for question, there's no, I'm spending time inside, like at least for questioning, right? I need to find some way to be able to contact you.
Well, and when you get out, they'll probably be keeping a close eye on you, just in case it leads back here, or leads back to me, not here. Maybe. It's what Sharp would do. Thank God she's not here.
Thank God. She's probably miles away. She's probably on a totally different planet, somewhere in a different system. Forgotten all about us, no doubt. I don't know. I think about there's got to be a way to communicate with you. If I can just make sure that I can keep you up to date with something, that's all that's needed. But they're gonna.
What if we've still got the shuttle right up at the Baltic Star?
It's up on It's down by the where we parked it. It's racking up fees by the day. We're here for a week, then we went away for a week, did something for a week, spent another week. It's been there for a month. I'm worried about how much that is. Was that Elia or Koala? One of those two where you dumped the shuttle.
It was on Elia.
Elia, yeah. So that's been there. I can get back there, but I can guarantee you they'll tell me that I can't leave the planet anytime soon until this has been decided. So if they're following me, there's no way I'm going to get to Elia.
Yeah, but what if I could get back to the shuttle? I mean, I suppose they're probably watching it. They know where it came from, right?
Try and jake the shuttle up. Yeah, our shuttle's going to have eyes on. You can get up. I need a way to be able to contact you. I need a way, some sort of code or something that won't arouse suspicion. That won't arouse a number. That, like, I don't know, on a forum somewhere, typing something into a forum that you understand the code. Like keywords or something. Like keywords or something.
Those old films where you put something in the personal ads and it wouldn't actually
Exactly.
be a personal ad. It would be code. Right. All we need is like 20 hours to come up with a decent, solid code where we can communicate any potential message that we need.
We'll make something out of wheels and gears and things. No one else can hack.
Yeah. One of those siphon. That's what they're called, aren't they? A siphon. Yeah. That's the one. No, actually, now that you mention it, I was thinking earlier that when you said about the shadowy figure, we do need like some kind of quick one-word code that basically means things are about to hit the fan. Run would be quite handy, if nothing else.
That's a good call. I'll tell you what. I've potentially got an idea. Potentially.
That's because you're the smart one.
Well, you always said that. Just because I stayed in college for an extra year.
Yeah.
If you didn't spend all the time...
Except for that moment with the smoke grenade. You're the smart one.
Well, that's the bit I sort of learnt off you, unfortunately. Took me back to that night that we cleared the student union bar that time. The Baltic Star.
It's amazing how simple it is to swap out the smoke for like a stink, noxious gas.
Now you're talking. This is good thinking. So we've got the Baltic Star, right? Is a deep night, isn't it? Getting refitted.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we've got Rachel Axis is there, isn't she? There's two. It's not just her. There's Thingy's there as well. Kron's there as well.
Kron's what did they say last time? He was doing some kind of test, checking everything was okay.
Now these two have nothing to do with the landing party, right? They weren't at the club. There's nothing that
No.
leads them back to those events. They were on the ship, but they'd had no. I'm just wondering if it's worth if I can work through them, like do something to them and get them to drop things off here. If you're going to hang around here in a yellow waistcoat and
It's a jumpsuit.
yeah, okay, that same thing. Then why is the sleeve so short?
Not that short.
I don't know if I could get them to drop things off over here. They're blending well. They're engineers, right? Drop off some sort
Yeah.
of stuff like keep you in. Maybe we can work out a system of like a number of places, like run like a number of different places that you can go and pick things up from or something. I don't know, man.
I mean, I've got loads of food and stuff.
Well,
I'm worried about picking up more stuff because you've got to take everything with you out of the room for 15 minutes a day.
I'm just more about like a note or something, you know, an update. Keep you in the know.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good point though. If I can get back to Deep Night, to the Baltic Star, somehow. I mean, I'm not saying it's not being.
That's
if they've
high
heard.
quality stuff.
You know what though? I wonder if they've heard from Deep Night, because if Deep Night have heard about, I mean, they're going to know what's going on Planet, right? If they've heard about that and they haven't cancelled their contract, then maybe they're open to morally grey areas. Maybe.
Oh.
I'm just thinking out loud.
Well, they want their mission to happen.
It's all I've got at this point. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying we're irreplaceable, because clearly we're not. They could find someone else, but they have just fitted out our shit.
Okay. Here's what I'm thinking then. You want to try and make a run? You want to try and make a run to Deep Night? You want to do that? Just to see.
I don't know. Because again, they're going to be watching the ship, aren't they? Are they more likely to be watching the ship or the shuttle? Or both?
Difficult, man. Difficult. What if? Oh no, everything's going to fail. There's too many possibilities. We're going to have to take a chance. I know I'm feeling down right now. I'm shaken by the mysterious figure.
We're going to have to take a chance at some. Well, I am.
Yeah,
you should be alright.
Nothing can stay safe. We're either going to have to lose communication or risky with communication. You know, keeping these devices if nothing else. Even if I dump mine somewhere with the plan to go back to it, you know, someone could be watching me as I do it. Even if I tell someone else to go and talk into it, that might be the best thing. What if I'll dump my device somewhere on the way to hang myself in, and I'll get one of the crew or something. If I'm freed or if I get a visitor, I could get one of the crew to update you on the situation.
What if I give you this, and Stefan pulls out his anonymous communicator that he bought, his at level 13 anonymous communicator. I mean, I don't know a huge amount about this sort of thing, but this isn't registered to me. It's pretty high tech, from what I can tell. If I gave you this, do you think they
That
can
might
get a handle on it. I mean, it's not associated with.
it might be the best reason for you to keep it. Soraya thinks, and she realizes that she pulls up her sleeve 'cause she's got a watch. She's got a com.dot watch, which I believe has com communication
It
skills,
does.
doesn't she?
Yeah.
She says, "So I've got the watch. You've got that. It depends, man.
I
Give me
need
a
to know more about the tech. I think because if if this can't be, if somebody's keeping an ear on your phone and you call this, does that mean they get this number? I don't know.
if what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to give me your number for that, and I'm just gonna have to remember it, right? Simple as that. Just gotta
It's
remember
the
it.
most convoluted way I've ever known of someone getting a phone number of someone else. But okay,
Ah, it
what
sounds
can I
really. It's
say?
very old-fashioned actually giving someone a number, isn't it? Give me that, and I'll make sure word gets to you in the next. Let's say, if you don't get word from me or someone in the crew in the next 24 hours, make a run to Deep Night.
Consider you all disavowed.
If we can't get you an update of something,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
yeah, then just do what you can.
yeah.
Try and hunker down on the Baltic Star. Like Kron, especially, he's gonna know places on that ship that no one will even know exists. You just got to get on there, He's probably had little. He's been there while the whole refit's happened, right? Him and Rachel.
Yeah.
They're going to know these little hidey holes and this and that. They can stuff you in there with a sandwich and a toasted sandwich. If they've installed the toasted sandwich maker.
Sandwiches.
I could get him with a bag of toasted sandwich makers.
The most
Um,
luxurious hideout I've ever had.
exactly, you'd be living the dream.
Oh,
It's risky, but I think you're right. We can't just keep hiding here forever. And if I can do my best to sort of meet with the crew, clear your name, do something, try and find something. And if not, give me 24 hours. And if not, try and make it across to Kron and Rachel. What do you think?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree, but don't listen. Don't worry about clearing my name so much, because it's a thing that actually happened. Worry about the setup and clearing your name, because part of me also thinks that somehow if you clear your name, that it might muddy Vess's name. I'm not saying he's involved in the poisoning, but there's a strong chance he was.
No, for sure. I think he's definitely behind it, man.
So if you
He's
can
got to
clear
be.
your name of that, then surely that helps the whole situation by dirtying his name a little bit. Maybe not.
Sounds good to me, man.
But it
So
can't do any harm.
no, exactly right. Look, right. The time's like 1 o'clock. 'Cause the thingy was like just after midday, wasn't it, Ben? The room sweep. I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Effectively, it will now be after your conversation. It'll be probably approaching 2 o'clock in the
Okay.
afternoon.
Right. Well, look, it's 2 p.m. now, right? If you don't hear back from me from 2, work your way out how you're going to get there and get over to Deep Night.
2 tomorrow.
2 tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah.
That sound all right? Cool. Because if I'm still in there within 24 hours, I think I'm going to be in there for a little bit longer, So you got to go for it, and the crew will sort it out for me. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good
Deal.
man. This room was booked under my address. Was booked under my details, right? So it might be worth, though, you lying low elsewhere, because when I go in, they'll know that I've booked it, and they might come looking. So it might be worth clearing your stuff, making sure no one knows, and
Yeah.
go undercover or something. Does that make sense? Because when I
Well,
booked it under my details. So
Sure,
if
sure,
I made
sure.
a run for it, and they'll assume that I was there, they might send a force or something.
yeah, that makes perfect sense. I'll tell you what I might do. I might book might book another room in this place.
Yeah, I like your thinking.
Very sneaky.
Keep your friends close.
Well, I probably wouldn't keep an eye on this place, but I'm not saying next door, but next door is probably the last place that you look. If maybe it's not, maybe it's the first place. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But thanks. It's good to know.
I'll tell you what I will do to make sure people know it's me. She reaches into the bag, pulls out a few cheesy balls, and sort of chucks them into a corner of the room. Makes it look a little bit like she's been there. Tries to make it look a bit like she's been holed up by herself. Empties out a bottle of booze into the toilet and sort of leaves it there with the cheesy balls. One of her very female-sized hoodies, one of the ones that she got. I'll leave one there, so it just looks like it's just been her on the bed. And then she leaves all the bags with Stefan.
Okay.
All the stuff with the food, all the stuff with the other clothes and that. It says, look, keep what you got to keep, chuck what you got to chuck, and I'll give you a call in 24.
Yeah. You look after yourself. I'll see you in a bit.
You take care, man. I'll see you in a bit. And she reaches around and gives him a big cuddly squeeze.
All right. And she's going?
Yeah. So like I said, all the bags that she'd been carrying around like an old bag lady gone. She's in her gear, albeit she was in her jumpsuit, which Stefan had besmirched the night before, which is over her the thingy suit. She's got a hood, she's got like one of the hoodies over the top and a cap on. She's got her hand weapons, hasn't she? And she's got her usual bag with her bits and pieces, her usual stuff that she carries around. And she strides out of the room.
Okay. Step out of the room. You can turn left towards the staircase or right towards the lift.
I'm going to make sure the door closes immediately behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone either way, from what I can see?
Not immediately visible. If you want to sort of do a look, you can certainly do a streetwise or recon check, your choice.
I'll have a quick recon check, please.
Okay, that will be with intellect.
Okie dokie. Recon and intellect is a bit more like it. That's going to be an 8.
Okay. Nothing visible.
Okay. She's going to go down the front exit through to the front exit, please.
Okay. You make your way to the lift and call it. It only takes a moment or two for the lift to arrive. And you can hop inside. The hotel seems relatively quiet. Probably not suspiciously so, given that it's the middle of the day. Most people who stay in a place like this check in late and leave early, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not where you'd bring your family for a luxurious holiday. It's where you crash for a night between flights.
Yeah.
And so it's not particularly surprising there's not a lot going on. You head down to the sort of ground floor part. Lift doors open, and you can step through into the lobby.
As to do, I'd like to turn on my actual device for the first time in a very long time, please.
This is your scanner.
My actual phone, not her burner phone, her usual device. Yep.
The main one. Yep.
Yep. And probably see a billion missed messages and things like that, and calls. And
yeah, one or two missed messages pop up immediately, but it'll take a while for everything to load. And you're heading out through the lobby, or are you heading towards the Rear exit.
Beforehand, I want to call Agnar, please.
Okay.
Yeah, Kara's video.
Notifications from Cara.
Kara started doing youth TV. Interesting.
Hello? What?
Hey, it's Soraya.
You okay?
I'm gonna hand myself
Have
in.
you seen the news? Have you seen what's happening?
Yes, I have seen the news. Apparently, I am the news. Well, some of the news. Achilles von Cotswold.
Listen,
Achilles von Cotswold's could think I'm a villain. It
listen,
hurts.
we've seen Sharp. She's been hired as a private investigator, I suppose.
Okay.
She's working with the police force. She was particularly after you and the whereabouts of you and Stefan. Don't tell me where you are. I haven't told her. I've told her we don't know where you are. But she did say that if I think it was Stefan in particular, but if you guys want to come in to contact her, and she can get you in safe and objectively.
Well, it might be a better option than some of those detectives doing interviews on the telly that seem to want my head on a platter.
Listen, I've got to ask. You didn't do it, did you?
What, the stuff they said? No.
Yeah.
I fired off a grenade, like a smoke grenade, but that was me panicking because I was terrified of Fess. But we've all fired off a smoke grenade in fear. It's like fear pheromones, isn't it?
Yeah. Or by accident.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, I did nothing, man. I did nothing. So I hope if you say Sharp's the one to go through, I hope she can believe me.
Well, she's seemed pretty. She's done all right by us in the past, right?
Yeah.
I think other gun ho investigators on a ship like the Seamstress would have come across the situation in which we found ourselves on several occasions and jumped to the conclusion that it was us right then and there.
Yes, fair point. Fair point. And even when she knew it was us, she gave us some leeway. So fair play to her.
Yeah. If you want, I can set it up. I can give her a call and get to meet you somewhere.
I'll give her a call.
You sure?
Yeah, man. I'll give her a call.
Cut out the middle, Varga.
You probably have. You're a very busy man. I saw some video footage of you flouncing around with the fancy boats, like some sort of rich Varga billionaire on one of the puff pieces earlier.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant on Kara's.
No,
I think she uploaded something without me knowing.
That was ridiculous. You looked ridiculous in that one. You looked awkward.
Well,
It's unlike you, I know.
As fun as the social catch up is, I don't want to know where you are. If you're in public, the longer you spend in public, the higher the chance that somebody who isn't sharp is going to get hold of you.
Okay, I'll give Sharp a call. Take care, man.
Okay. Yeah. Be in contact if you need anything.
Visit
If
me.
you get a phone call when you're in,
Make it you. I say visit me, insider.
yeah. I'm seeing Sharp. I think over the next couple of days, so I'll see what I can do.
Oh, sorry for some. Oh. Okay, I'll speak to you later.
Yeah.
And she hangs up and she immediately calls Sharp, please.
Okay. It takes just a couple of seconds and Sharp answers the comm. Sharp.
Soraya.
Ah, Soraya. How nice to hear from you.
I'm sure it is. Um, Agnar said that if I wanted the truth heard, you were probably the best route to go through.
That's certainly the way I see it, yes.
I'm ready to come in and put across my side of the story.
That's excellent news. I'm going to recommend that you stay where you are. I'll come to you, and then we'll go in together.
Okie dokie. Seems reasonable.
So where are you?
So I booked, and you'll be able to see my records. I booked a room in a hotel. Panicked, ran away because of Fess and the whole situation. I can't remember the name of the hotel now. I am at the. Have you got it to hand?
Petter's Inn, you mean?
Petter's Inn, yeah. And the Petter's Inn, I'm staying there, but I don't want to be visible to all. I do know a place around the corner. Just around the corner, there's like a little square with a bench in it, with like 4 exits off it. Like narrow alleyways. One's like to the road. So you just come off the road near it, and you go through, and there's like a little square surrounded by like the backs of houses and stuff like that. It's like a little private municipal square.
Yep, I'll find it.
I'll sit. I'll be there. All right.
Okay. Take me at least half an hour, maybe as much as an hour to get there.
That's fine. That's fine. I've got all the time in the world.
Excellent. Well, thank you for calling, and I'll see you soon.
This can make you a lot of money.
Depends. You guilty of anything?
Nope.
Then not that much.
Well, spend it on Agnar. He's a good boy.
I don't know how many more favors I have to do, Agnar. Anyway, I'll see you soon.
See you in a bit.
And she hangs up.
I will cautiously look to make it out to that square, please.
Okay, so you're going out through the front.
I think that's the only option, because through the back would potentially set off an alarm, which I still don't want to do.
It could do, yeah. So you go out through the front and you turn right towards the sort of little alley that will lead you to that square. Can you roll a streetwise for me, please, with intellect as you go?
I certainly can. Oh, that's good. 7 plus 2 is 9.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Okay.
Happy with that.
All right. You walk along a short way and turn into the alley, and then, due caution and all the rest, you quickly peer back around the alley to see if anyone is following you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't be certain, but it looks as if one person might be.
Are they shadowy?
No, they have their face covered with a hood.
Yeah.
But they look slim, fairly average size for a human female, fairly young, fairly slim.
Do they look like anyone in our crew? Like, from time spent? Would they look similar in build to anyone in our crew, at least?
Not that different in build to Kara, but probably a little bit taller.
Okay. And I know it's not her, unless she's gone rogue on me. What What I'm going to do, so I've come down the alleyway for the, it says at Main Road. What I'm going to look to do, please, is I'm going to head down the little thing that says narrow. Oh, I came from the inn, sorry. I want to go down the one that says narrow alleyway. You know, the one with all the jaggedy random bits
The
of houses.
higgledy-piggledy bit, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you.
I'm going to take the classic Stefan and Soraya back on the De La Rue approach and head down a higgledy-piggledy alleyway and as quickly as possible look for, before that person could get in, judging, get behind a bit of cover to see if they come past.
Okay. The buildings, the way they back onto that alleyway, they're all different sizes, so there's no shortage of places you can hide.
Yeah.
So you select one fairly quickly before the person can get anywhere near.
Yeah.
Can you roll a? I think it's going to have to be a stealth check with Dex for me, please.
Okay.
I like how you're hiding in the alcoves.
Yeah, I got to do it. That's the best roll of the night.
Is
at
that
least.
the right word? The alcoves?
The alcoves, the alcove pops. 11, the best roll of tonight. 11.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, you find yourself a spot where not only are you behind the corner of a building, but also there's
in the alcove
a couple of bits of extraneous material like large wheelie bins and things like that. So you can actually peer back through a really narrow gap to see if anything's following you.
Now, if I remember correctly, I'm still without my Gauss pistol because I gave it away, didn't I?
You did.
So what I have is that rather brutal flechette pistol, which
that's absolutely right.
Which no one wants, but that is what she's got. So I'm going to draw it down by my side and keep low and wait to see if anyone follows.
Okay. You crouch down, making very good use of the cover, pull the weapon out and get ready. You peer through the gap, and seconds later, you indeed see a slim, human-like figure walk down the alley, a bit cautiously, sort of looking left and right, as if she's not clear why she can't see a person in front of her. But she keeps coming, not particularly afraid or anything, until she comes past your position. Your cover was good, as you know, with that roll. So it's so good, she doesn't spot you as she goes past. And you can either let her just walk on in the hope she won't then turn around, which might give your position away, or you can do something as she goes past.
Well, I'm not one for letting people just go. I'm going to. How am I going to go about it? I'm going to attempt to do the old. I'm not even going to go that close. I'm just going to wait until she's far enough away that she couldn't wrestle something directly from my hand.
Okay.
How do I want to do that? Hang on. There's two ways here. Depends what I want to get out of this. No, let's go straight for it. I'm going to try and grab her around the old throat and thrust a gun into the side of her head.
Okay. All right. You're going to have surprise, so we're not going to handle initiative at this point, but I am going to need you to make what amounts to an attack roll, either strength or dex.
Yep.
And your unarmed melee.
Yep. 9 minus 1 is 8. Exactly, I'm very innocent.
Okay.
Terrible choices. I'm making bad choices. I'm tired. I've had a busy week.
We've all done it, Luke. That's why we're in this situation.
Exactly. Why?
The person you've grabbed is caught completely by surprise. You have the weapon pressed against the side of her head, and she lets out this sort of gasp and a slight whimper as you throw your arm around. She absolutely freezes when she feels the weapon against her head, and just slightly, very slowly, sort of shows that her hands are empty.
Um, I'll say to her, "Will you follow me?"
Yes.
Are you the law?
No.
Interesting. Are you a friend?
I am beginning to think I should be.
Mm. What's your name?
Verima.
Spell it for me.
Berima.
B Berima. Mm. So what are you, Barima?
I'm a journalist.
A journalist? Trying to get the inside scoop?
Yeah.
What brought you here?
The Pelago race. I write sports stories.
What brought you to this area of town?
Well, rumor has it that someone was trying to poison and attack teams in the Pelago race, and I thought there might be a story there. And then when they announced that people who I knew, at least by reputation, were indicated as possible people for the crimes, I tried to track you down.
You understand, Barima, why I'm twitchy. You've seen the news for the last day or two.
As long as you understand why I'm a bit twitchy too, because only one of us is currently being plausibly accused of a murder.
I tell you what, I've got someone. I've turned myself in. Okay, I've got someone to pick me up in about 25 minutes. So how about you and I go over to that bench? I'll put the gun away, and this is your chance. You get 25 minutes to ask me questions. How about that?
That sounds good.
Fantastic. Lead the way.
If you could just let go of my throat.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. I forget sometimes. Please, I'm terribly sorry. Just nervous around here, you know. You weren't you
Yeah,
weren't you weren't wandering through the hotel earlier, were you?
not personally. I paid someone to take a little look at your room.
Yeah. Oh, it's nice, isn't it? No expense spared.
No expense spent, I would say.
You know, fewer the windows the better. Go on, let's go and sit. Let's have a chat. You'll get to like me.
She walks along and sits down. Now, this is a journalist that you as a party have met before.
Oh, is that thingy?
In fact, I think you, Soraya, have in fact met her before.
Ah, hang on a sec. She's she wasn't the one off the seamstress, was she?
Yes.
It was her.
I'm trying to remember if it was, I think it was Soraya, but it might have been Kara. No, I think it was Soraya who intercepted her.
I know. No, Kara. It's Kara. We've got picture. It's one of
Kara.
only because I used it as one of the images for the graphics. It's possible Sarai did as well, but I need to flick back. It was definitely Kara and Agnar.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Okay. It's Kara I was thinking of then. Yeah.
but it's possible that Sarai has something. Let me just have a quick flick while I have a look, because that might change the relationship. I guess. Let's have a check. When do we talk to her?
I'm pretty sure she
The
spoke
relationship.
with
I don't know why I said
Agnar.
that.
I'm pretty sure she only spoke with Agnar down in the security corridor
Yeah.
and with Kara in that brunch place.
Yes, because and then Agnar sort of stopped the door, right?
Mm.
At some point. Yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah, I don't think you've seen Soraya. Okay. Oh, what was her first name again?
Verima.
Barima. We have both her
Verima
names.
Saffron.
That's it, Saffron. Yeah. The seamstress. Okay. Okay, Barima. Um, shoot. Oh, sorry. Bad choice of words. Let's get going away. Come on.
So, first question first. Are you trying to sabotage the Pelago racing?
No, I'm a strong believer in sports. I don't know if if you've done your background research. Our first trip over on the seamstress, I was part of the fan team for the buckyball for the geeks. I'm sure my picture adorns all the walls in my resplendent in my gear.
Uh,
I love sport. I I
well,
I,
that's good.
I believe in the sanctity um, of pure sport.
And you didn't therefore try to poison
Like,
any people at the Cascade.
I'll be honest, until like last night when I sat munching on my cheesy balls in misery in my hotel room, I didn't even know that anyone had been poisoned.
There is also the matter of the stabbing.
I know someone was stabbed because that was the guy that was chasing after me.
You, according to witnesses,
Hmm.
you let off a smoke bomb inside the front door of the Cascade.
Because I'm absolutely terrified of that man and I wanted to get out of there without him knowing where I've gone. I just wanted it to be gone. I want to be gone. That guy's freaked me out on more than one occasion. Um, I think I think I saw him by the team they say has been poisoned, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw him by there, and it looked to me like he'd nicked something off them, like a data chip or something. So I called him out on it, and then immediately he went after me, like look of like killer's eyes on him, man, terrifying. I scarpered. We've had pass with him, and I know what he's like. He's messed with like our crew before, and I was gone. Like, honestly, you can probably I don't know what your skills are like with getting footage and stuff, but if you can get hold of that footage, you'll just see I'm straight from outside, along, inside, downstairs, chuck the grenade out the door. You know.
I see. So you would argue that you weren't personally involved in the stabbing?
I didn't know it was going to happen until it happened. To be honest, and I'm surprised it happened. I can see why he did it because you could probably argue quite easily that my life was in danger from this guy. He's like I say, he's got previous with us. He's tried to mess with one of our crew before.
And do you know where the fugitive, Stephen Miller, is?
Stefan Miller, no. So when it happened, so after it all happened, I I got out of there. I was in a whir. I didn't quite know what to do. Um, I thought we've all been here sort of before on this in Sellville, and I knew that like this place was a bit sort of might be a little bit quieter, you know, but still have hotels and stuff where I could lay low, but be a little bit quieter. So I just came in, lay low for a day or two to get my head and work out what on earth I was going to do. And then I saw the footage and realised how big it was, and it was more than just this stabbing. There's this whole thing about poisoning and all this sort of stuff that just like freaked me out, man.
So you claim to be completely innocent of any wrongdoing on the night of the Cascade.
I don't know what the law is for letting off a smoke grenade in a space. I'm probably guilty of that, but that was through panic more than anything else. So there's probably law against panic and stupidity, I guess.
There's actually a law against shouting fire in a crowded theatre. The law's even worse if you start one.
There's smoke. There's no smoke without fire. In this case, there's no fire with the smoke.
No,
But
but you see, setting off the smoke causes the same panic as if there was actually a fire.
I just wanted to get people out there with this guy. It's impossible to know what's going on. I just wanted to get. It just is a freak out moment. And to be honest, it looks like it might have saved his life from what I can see, because I think you've spoken to him before, right? Our boy Agnar saved the guy's life, and I don't think he'd have been able to get out there uh, unless the place had cleared out. And I think from the footage that I can see, the security forces and the paramedics and that could get in there quite quickly because it was so clear. So you could say, I guess, that I made sure his life was saved.
I mean, you certainly need to roll for me a deception check, please, with intellect or social, your choice.
Okay. Let's go. I think we'll go intellect. My social is it's about as posh as my accent. Well, we'll see. It could go. It could go some way. It's an 8.
Okay. She sort of smirks at you slightly and she says, so you're aware the police are currently looking for you?
That's why I've handed myself in to a security officer who's coming to pick me up in less than 15 minutes' time.
Well, that's excellent.
I don't know, right?
I think we should work together, don't you?
Yeah, I'm not planning to go anywhere. That's what I said. You've got all this time. If you want to use it.
Fantastic. So, a few simple questions. You say you had previous meetings with the victim of the stabbing. Perhaps it's appropriate that you gather your thoughts for a moment and then tell me a little bit about those previous meetings and how you came to know the victim at all. And while you do indeed gather your thoughts a little bit, we might do a minute of wisdom and then take a break.
Okay. Before I tell you about the man, there's something that has been playing across my mind recently.
Oh, is that so?
And we've got like enough time. I'm sure you can bear me 1 minute between old friends.
I mean, I'm sure you're right.
You're a reporter. You must have spent a lot of time mixing with the galactic working class.
Yes. We are queued up if you want to flick to the different screen.
Now, I don't know if you remember this. It was something I was always told as a kid, right? So, back in the day, the galactic working class came up with this big convention, right? They've been downtrodden for years. It was local where I grew up. I think it made news across a few systems. And they finally got together. And the working class is stronger together, right? That's the older thing. And they all came together to come up with a big convention together. And it was mostly the fault of the fish milkers. They were quite strong at the time. There was a big call for fish milk, and they started by they just wanted to come together in like a co-op to sort of sell their fish together, like make sure the price was fair. And more people piled on top, and it became a massive fair. The fish milkers were there, the fish skinners were there, the fish egg people were there, a lot of fish people. And it worked really well because everyone had this shared love of the fish and the fish fairs. And unfortunately, though, it failed. It sort of went on for a few months, but then the the police came in and tore it all down. They said there wasn't enough regulations. The vegans came in. They'd like the bourgeoisie vegans came in and just like they tipped off the police to it, and it was gone. Very
They're
sad.
the worst kind of vegans.
Exactly. There was a real dream, and it was dashed by the bourgeoisie vegans.
That's excellent. Thank you. I really, I feel that deserves some kind of an opinion piece to come.
Thank you. Put it in there. You
Yep.
know.
However, for right now, we shall call that our break and be back in 5 minutes or so.
Can I just quickly add before our break that if anybody wants to actually, any reporters out there do actually want to do a piece on conventions, we promise to interview a lot better than that.
How very dare you.
Yes, we do actually have real thoughts as well.
Yeah. Less fish related, I would say. 100%
Much
less fish related.
Milking of fish.
90% less fish related.
Yeah, probably more vegans these days.
Yes,
Yes,
excellent.
That is
Right.
That is big.
Good point, Ewan. Well made.
Well done.
Just in case.
Right, let's take a few minutes and we'll be back then. Go and charge your glasses, everyone, for the toast. We'll be back in a few. Let's put that screen up. Let's put this music up, wherever that's gone. Do. There's the music. Let's turn me off and you off. Monkeys, 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 monkeys. Good timing. Oh man, I just cut the top of my mouth with a crisp. In excitement, I realised I need to say hello because coming in at the edge is a bad time. We are truly going to be back though. I hope you had a wonderful stream, by the way. Hey Rasinka, how are you? It's a pleasure to have you with us as always. As always, how was the game? What are we playing this evening? I'm sorry, I meant to dive in today, but we've got like a house viewing tomorrow. We've got 2 house viewings tomorrow, so I've been able to like straighten up the house and stuff. And I've had that hectic week, so I really wanted to dive in. Tomorrow, you normally stream tomorrow. I'm going to try and pop in and say hello to them. So do love your stuff, man. What have you been playing? Oh, who am I crisps, by the way? I'm quite hungry. I thought I could eat some crisps during my break. Yeah, I turned the mute on while I was crunching. No one likes crunchy crisps, do they? Oh, there was one in stream. Horrible. Anyway, thank you for the raid, as always. We totally appreciate it. Getting it from our beloved monkeys. Oh, no, it's gone down the wrong way. I'm trying to talk to the monkey tails, you, and just in case I can say hello because they've turned up, and a bit of crisp went down the wrong way, and it's chili crisps, and now I'm suffering. You're now live as well. Why don't you say hello, Ewan?
Hello, Ewan. Hello, Monkey Tails.
God, you
Hello.
can't get the staff these days.
Well, if you're going to set me up for a dad joke, what do you expect?
Man, you were like you were set for dad joke from the minute you were born. You were just waiting.
It did.
Your body was just waiting to become you now.
I've hit my peak, is what you're saying, or what I'm hearing that you're saying.
Yeah, late peak. Late peaks are the best peaks.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if like. Sorry, Karen.
No, go.
No, you were going to thank them. I was just going to take a side story.
No, you were going to tell me something that you didn't know, and I was looking forward to it.
No, I was just going to say, you know that remember back at school, right, where the cool kids, like when you're like 16, 17, right, the ones that had all the girlfriends, and they're at my time they always had the curtains haircut, the centre parting, right, and they were like the sports stars. I was a sports star, but in my own way. And they had all the girlfriends, and they were like the cool ones, and they're like, "Hey, these are the guys," and they were like so cool. And then you go back to them now, and they're still like the same. They're still like the same 16-year-old kid that never grew up. And then the ones, and often if I look back at my school friends and that, the ones that have gone on to like become much more were like the proper nerds at the time, and became themselves at a later age. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I picked about 23, so I'm somewhere in the middle, I guess. But the ones that are peaking at your age now, like proper Daddy Ewan stage, that's like mwah, chef's kiss. The world is your oyster.
Which I do quite like oysters, to be fair.
Exactly. Exactly. We're live, Ben, by the way, because the monkey tails turned up, and I thought it'd be nice to say hello when they got here.
That's good. Welcome, IMT. Thank you for joining us.
Back in 5 minutes. It means we can't badmouth the viewers like we normally do, but that's okay, man.
Yeah, because that's what we do.
That's what we always do. I'm eating crisps, which is bad when I'm on. But you two talk for a minute. I'm going to eat some crisps.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, IMT. Thank you so much. I hope you had a really good stream tonight.
Yeah, I hope it went well. I didn't get a chance to see what the game was. Unfortunately,
it was D&D this evening. I think I caught bits of it.
Very nice.
While we were sort of prepping our stream, but
was
Croy they seemed to be having some fun.
Was Croy DMing? He always looks so sinister when he DMs in his hood. I love it.
Hooded Croy.
Croy was looking fabulous, actually. This sort of really evil light cast across his face. It was excellent.
I like the fabulous. It brings a bit of sort of pantomime campness to him as well. It's totally in his wheelhouse. Like a pantomime villain is totally Croy's wheelhouse.
I saw somebody on Twitter today.
Oh,
who's booked tickets to who was it? I forget who they were going to see in the pantomime.
Oh no, they good on.
Was it Ian? Was it Ian McEwan? It
Oh
was
yeah,
someone,
yeah, yeah. In Mother
someone,
Goose, right? Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What an age to be alive, eh?
Ah, the
I would
the
love to see
rolls
that.
have dried up.
I never really got into pantomimes, even as a kid. I never got the point.
Mm.
But the weird thing is, the older I get, the more I think I kind of missed out.
Oh, I went to one as
Yeah.
no, I went to two when I worked in a primary school. Right, we went to the Canterbury one, and the first one, they reeled us in. So I was like one of the teachers, and it was the front two rows, and my spidey senses were tingling, and the dame pointed that I was the dame's target. It was horrific. But you can't. What can you do? You can't do nothing, especially if you're like
You gotta
a
lean
teacher in a
into it.
school. You've got to totally lean into it.
Mm.
So he comes down. He's like, "Hello, Mr. Morris." I'm like, "Hello." Like, oh, I love a man with a beard. Gives me something to cling on to, or something. I was like, "Oh, me too, me too." And sort of trying to joke along. Come and sat on my lap, and the girls and the boys in the school absolutely loved it. Um, the only good thing was Samantha Womack was who was
Hmm.
Samantha Janus was playing the fairy, and
Right.
halfway through, she looked at me and said, "You all right? You doing okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing all right." Samantha Womack's just spoken to me. Life's a dream.
High point of the evening.
Exactly. It was.
Yeah.
That was the one they recorded as well. The
Aw.
sign was up, so this is like our recorded one for the year. I was
Did you
like,
get a
oh,
copy?
no, I did not.
Oh, you should have done.
When we went back next year, we were like sat 2/3 of the way back, so safe, but you still freak out because the dame comes out and like starts looking around for like a man,
Mm.
and
Don't make
looks
eye
around a bit.
contact.
Yeah, exactly. Look away, and then just pointed at some guy. I think he had it worse because he had to stand up every time she came on stage and wave. Oh, oh,
Uh,
oh, the pain, the pain. I hate performing, Ewan. I hate it. Performing in front of people. Terrible.
that's why we're here.
That's why he's jinxed we're not performing in front of people. Just to an
It did.
empty
It did get me
audience.
thinking though. If he's doing pantomimes, I know it's probably not as good a paying gig, but maybe we could
Let's see on
we could offer him a spot in a traveller game.
you putting him on the list.
Well, maybe.
I am told that a thesp can make a decent living doing a pantomime.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I'm not knocking them at all. Just putting it out there to you both.
So those listening, Ewan and I had a very drunken night a couple of weeks ago, and we were working out which celebrities we could try and get on stream for this year. Our aim is to get a celebrity on stream for this year, not an obvious one necessarily. We were trying to work out how many Twitter viewers would count. For the Brits, we thought that one of Trevor and Simon from Going Live would be good. The Swing Your Pants guys, because they live in Thanet, or one of them does, so that's doable. I've got a celebrity that just an actress who started following me and liked a picture of my tuna sandwich the other day, so I think that's a possibility.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, she's good as well. I like her. So any ideas from the audience? Chuck them our way at some point, and we'll try and get someone on. That's one of our targets, wasn't it, Ewan? A serious target.
I want to
year.
hear more about the tuna sandwich, if I'm honest.
Oh,
but
it's
yeah.
good. So it's white bread. Mash up the tuna with some mayonnaise. Chop up an onion. Well, not a whole onion, a bit of onion. Mix it in. Slice some cucumber. White bread with butter. The tuna mayonnaise with onion. Bits of cucumber. Cut it in half. Straight halves, not triangles. I'm not a hippie or a child. Rectangles, man. A chunk of Pringles, and then a miso soup, which I made really badly in a cup. So that was disappointing. It looked beautiful. Nice lunch. Nice lunch for all.
Not triangle sandwiches.
You're all about triangle sandwiches. Yeah, but you're in catering.
I am all about triangle sandwiches. I feel a Twitter poll coming on.
But I have this thing where some I cut straight across and some I cut diagonally, but it depends on what's in the sandwich. If what's in the sandwich might fall out, I cut them straight across because they're easier to hold.
That's a good
But
call.
if it's something soft and squidgy like tuna and mayonnaise, I would cut it diagonally because those stick together,
Just do what pubs
for
do.
anyone
So, for anyone?
I was going to say, for anyone that's actually still not still listening and not tuned out because we're talking about tuna sandwiches,
Loads of people
the
are
reason
listening.
they're cut diagonally is
Big
because
stored into the night.
you can put less in and it looks like more. Right, so if you line 3 cucumbers along the middle of the sandwich and you diagonally along the sandwich and you cut it across the diagonal, then there is not cucumber throughout the entire sandwich, and you only need like 3 slices. And then each half of sandwich, you look at it and it's got a bit of cucumber showing.
This is a man who's in charge of a cafeteria.
Oh.
All the tricks.
Right,
I'm not coming to eat at yours. How dare! How very dare you. Just do what a fancy pub does and do it on the sort of go halfway between, so it looks rustic. So it's like it's like a rhombus, 2 rhombi. That's what you need. 2 rhombi slices.
Says the mathematician.
We're bringing together our love of food and
we're
maths.
almost hitting all of our jobs here.
Exactly. We just need to talk about Stalingrad now. for our skills and interests. Why not?
Out of context, boys from the Baltic Star. Right. Anyway, we're all here.
Should we get started? I'm enjoying this. Why do we have to play games? Can't we just have a nice chat? Millions of people watch us. Oh, let's get rid of this screen. Okay, there we go. We're back. Hang on. Let me get rid of this music as well. Oh, the music's muted anyway, but we'll get rid of it anyway. That's there. Let me get rid of this thing. Fine. Let's do it your way. Let's do some proper role playing. Go on.
Well, this evening, it falls to me once more to carry out that most sacred of Baltic Star duties, the formal toast. Grehel Bast, for he is the subject this evening, as always, was in his prime the finest steward, bartender, and raconteur who ever plied the wild frontier of the Varga extent. And in his short but varied career, Greyhill was in the employ of some remarkable people. So tonight, I intend to begin to tell the story of one of those illustrious individuals. One of the most notable was shipping magnate Carvel Bilt, scion of the notoriously wealthy Bilt family. He wasn't born into a shipping dynasty. His family had been industrialists, specializing in the construction of specialist coolant and freezing systems for merchant vessels when they were transporting high-value cargoes. Naturally, this was an excellent springboard with all of the contacts he had in shipyards and construction yards as well as ports. So for tonight, I will simply introduce the man himself before going in more detail into his story. He may have been born a fridge magnate, but he made his name as a shipping magnate. And he was a person who recognized the talents of a barman we celebrate this evening. Grehel Bast was exemplary, exceptional, excellent, elite, and etymological. He was the late, great Grehel Bast.
Late, great Greyhill Bast.
Thank you, Ben. That was very good, as always.
You're welcome. I needed something to kick off a new idea.
No, I like it.
We're just going to leave you hanging. We're not grabbing on an in-game game to get it off you for months yet. So you get used to it, mate.
Not while we're still all on the run.
Exactly. Doesn't feel right, does it?
No,
this was my fear. Yes.
You're doing splendidly. You're a star.
Well, thank you. It is, after all, only a bit of fun. Exactly. So, we have to. I don't know how briefly switch back to what Stefan is doing at this point, because it may become relevant fairly soon.
Oh no.
So, after seeing Soraya leave the room at the inn, room 216, what does Stefan do?
I actually got that written down. Yeah. Letters in 216. Sorry, Stefan will he'll spend a few minutes packing up all the bags as efficiently as he can, I suppose. He'll keep on his high vis, and he'll hold his helmet and.
No, he's alone, right?
What are
Yeah.
you laughing at, Luke? I don't know why you're laughing.
Fine, he's
Uh,
supposed to be peace
I
and
can't
quiet.
imagine what could possibly have made you chuckle.
I see, I see.
Yeah.
I turned off mute
So
for that.
immature.
Carry on.
And then he will. First things first, he'll make sure he's got everything. He'll leave the room, and he will head towards the stairs, making sure that there's no shadowy figures still in the corridor.
Okay. Can you roll a streetwise for me, please, with intellect?
Wasn't expecting dice rolls. Nice. That's a 12 plus 2 plus 0. It's a 14.
Okay. Glancing up and down the corridor, you don't see anyone loitering or lurking. Nothing grabs your attention. And with that
Perfect.
roll, you can be pretty confident you're you're in the clear.
He'll head towards the stairs, open the door, pause for maybe like 10 seconds just to hear, have a little listen, and then head up. How many stories is this building? I believe there was mention of a 4th floor last week, but I don't know actually how many.
There are a total of 7 stories in this building.
Oh, blimey. Okay, he's gonna go all the way to the top.
Okay.
And then when he gets to the top, he's gonna he wants to basically just see if there's any way to get onto the roof, or whether it's just the 7th floor corridor.
Okay. So you're carrying all of your stuff up the stairs, basically.
Yeah,
or
which at this
up in the
point
lift?
is no. He'll go to the stairs and he'll walk up.
Okay. When you get to the 7th floor, you do discover that there is a continuation of the staircase that leads up onto the roof. However, that is secured with a locked door.
Okay. He'll put the bags down and pause for a minute to catch his breath, mostly, and then I suppose he wants to. He'll take in the door as much as he can, whether there's any like contact alarm or what type of lock it is, potentially.
Yeah, you know what? We're going to make this a dex check, and depending on, I think there are a number of different ways you can do that. You can use something like investigation, for example. You could use, if you just want to maneuver around it and see what's there, you could even do dex plus dex, if you know what I mean. So if you've got a skill in particular you think might be helpful here, this would be a good time to call it.
Yeah, I would be happy with dex plus dex, but potentially streetwise, which is the same thing anyway. I feel as though with his kind of inner city, I suppose, going back to the days on the naval base or in and around the naval base, and his history and crime there, that would potentially work.
Yeah, all right, that works for me.
Cool. Which is an 8 plus 4.
Okay. You discover there is indeed an alarm. It seems to be connected to the same alarm circuit as the door downstairs. It looks as if, from your experience, it isn't really intended to be the kind of alarm that brings people running because a building's being broken into or something. It looks like it's designed to automate the emergency process. So in essence, if you push open an emergency door, it raises an alarm to tell everybody an emergency door's been opened so they can act accordingly because it might actually be an emergency.
Yes, that makes sense. Is there any way, to his knowledge, to work around this
There,
that he would be immediately aware of? Because I'm not sure of the technology.
it would certainly
involved.
be possible to bypass it. That would probably be an electronics check.
He thinks to himself, I'm not very good at. I remember that one time when I tried. It was terrible. And then he'll sit at the top of the stairs and he'll pause for a minute to reflect. And I suppose from his wander outside earlier on in the day when the room was being cleaned, were there any similar sort of standard unmanned hotels in the vicinity that he's aware of, like opposite or next door or
Not
by?
that you'd have seen, no.
Okay.
These kind of hotels are not unheard of. There may be another one even on this peak, but you didn't pass any in the immediate vicinity.
Okay. Well, he will try to navigate to the booking facilities for this hotel.
Okay.
On his anonymous communicator.
I think the truth is they're not actually planning to try to hide that. They're hoping people will, in fact, book it. So I'm not going to make you roll for that. You can find a booking.
Thank you. And can you select a room, or is it assigned to you upon booking?
I'm going to say it's probably going to split the difference. You can probably request if you want a ground floor room. But other than that, I suspect it would be automated.
Okay. He starts trying to work out the odds. 7 floors. I don't want to be on the second. But anything else is probably pretty good. He'll book in and he'll look to request a ground floor room.
All right. Now you can roll a check for me, please. Electronics computing. Let's find out if you work out how to make the website sit up and beg for you.
With dexterity, because I'm pushing it with my fingers.
I think
on the device.
I think, given your background, it's going to have to be intellect. It's not going to be part of your normal education.
Nice try.
Yeah,
Why do you do some somersaults while you're on the computer as well, though?
I could try. I don't think I've got anything else.
Unless you're juggling it while you're doing it.
Yeah. Can I persuade it instead of electronics? Dear internet, please do. Oh, that's not good. That's a 3 on the dice. +0 from my intellect, and then -3 from my electronics skill.
You literally rolled a 0.
I think that makes 0 on 2d6.
It does.
Oh,
you actually rolled a 0 on 2d6. I love the fact that this game, it only ever has bonuses that can be added to your dice rolls when you have skills and things, and yet you still manage to roll a 0. That is remarkable.
Oh man.
Yeah, that -3 is a killer.
It can be.
Whoever mechanically invented that, I mean, it's great, but
yeah, it's to stop people min-maxing. You realise?
Yeah. No, and it certainly does.
Okay.
I think.
There is a room available, but it won't give you one on the ground floor, I'm afraid.
So is it going to be random?
Right, so.
Okay, he'll book it for 2 nights and see what comes up.
All right. Can you roll 1d6 for me, please?
That's a 2.
Okay.
It's right, 7 floors.
Might be the
You
third,
are
if you're lucky.
offered room 306.
Yeah.
306. He will book it. Not under Stefan
Take
Miller.
it.
He'll put in a fake name
I want to know the fake name.
if that's the option.
Yes, in fact it is. And you can pay anonymously using your chips.
Yeah, perfect. He will do that. He'll pay for 2 nights because 24 hours, but I don't know what time checkout is, so he'll pay for 2. And Ben, have you got any name and NPCs that you want to drop in? Feels like an appropriate time. If
You mean
not,
you don't
then
want
I'll
to
come
come up with a really thrilling?
I mean, I'm more than happy to come up with a pseudonym. But if you've got anything, then go for it. If not, we'll make one up. How much do I need to mark off credit?
You're going to need to mark off 58 credits.
That's awkward maths. Actually, it's not. Perfect.
Okay. So are you making your way directly to the room?
I believe from his experience, did we need to check in downstairs?
No, you just needed the relevant credentials on your communication device, which can be your anonymous one. And then that works for both the security door in the lobby and the room to your hotel room.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, in that case, he will head to room. Did you say 306?
306, yeah.
He will head to room 306 down the stairs, I suppose. Sat at the top of them.
Okay. Slogging your way back down 4 stories.
Yeah,
you
with all the
make
gear.
your way into the corridor. There doesn't appear to be anyone in the corridor, and you can make your way down to more or less the other end of the corridor. It's quite close to the lifts, this room. And if you want, you can let yourself into room 306.
Yes, he certainly will. He'll hold his device up to the door and acknowledge the. I'm assuming there's some kind of name recognition at the point of Celine Dimwit, which is kind of how he feels at the minute.
Celine Dimwit.
Suitably far enough away from Stefan Miller for him to be comfortable.
Can this become a regular pseudonym for him whenever he books in anywhere? Like there's people that have their go-to name.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
written down. So.
I'm going to encyclopedia it now, aka Celine Dimwit.
Oh no! Don't AKA it.
Yeah,
it's
AKA
going to be a separate entry.
Everyone.
And he'll enter and he'll drop the bags and sit down with the last packet of cheesy balls. Throw one into his mouth and just say, "I wonder how." I hope Soraya's doing all right.
once you settle in, the room is literally identical. I mean, indistinguishable from 216. So there's not going to be much in the way of difference in your experience staying there.
Yeah.
You are perhaps, because you're a little bit closer to the lifts, there might be slightly more noise, but it's very subtle. Other than that, you seem to have found yourself a place to stay. And of course, you won't be effectively required to leave the room until the following lunchtime.
Yeah. The fake window that's not a window but can show you some pretty beautiful scenery. Is there any way, can you call up onto it like a corridor or a bar area from a subsidized liner similar to the Baltic Star? Is that an option?
You know what? Why
Beautiful.
not? That's exactly the kind of thing people who have spent the last week stuck on board a ship would definitely want to re-experience.
I mean, if it's no, say no, Ben. Don't make me twist your arm. But it's certainly what Stefan's after.
I suspect the options you would have would be mostly local scenes of the ocean, of the forested and green covered islands. Not anything really specific.
Okay, that's fair.
Generic beaches, forests, hillsides, mountains, and oceans. An occasional sea bat.
Well, yeah, I mean, he doesn't want forests because that's where foresty islands is where we found the sea bat nest type place. He doesn't want oceans because the last time we were massive water on this planet, there was a megalodon and/or followed by sea bats. He's not interested in mountains because that's where we abandoned somebody on Giikur. Perhaps a beach, I suppose.
A beach,
reminiscent of the beach times in Earth Park.
There we
go.
go.
The beach.
The forest with your somersaults.
Oh yeah, that's true. Fun memories.
Ah, happy days.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, Giikur, though you do need a breath mask down at sea level, Giikur is really quite a pleasant looking world. So there's plenty of quite nice basic scenery. This stuff isn't live footage; it's just recorded images for people to enjoy. But you find something that's perfectly pleasant.
Yeah, and not related to any of the wildlife that we've encountered that has made such pleasant locations not quite so pleasant.
Certainly there aren't that many, 75-foot long sharks. That's true.
Yeah.
It's like footage of being underwater with it coming and smashing the view screen. Yeah, I like it. That's what you should go for.
Okay. Lie down on the bed and tip the hard hat down a little bit just so he can peer out underneath it at the beach scenery and the window in front of him. Kick his 9.5 size intergalactic standard 9.5 size boots off. Take it easy for a little bit.
Okay.
What a guy.
Okay. Well, with that done, it is time to kick our way back briefly to Soraya. Who is sitting on a bench with a journalist. And the journalist has just asked Soraya about Anton Fess.
Anton Fess. We met him for the first time months ago now, I would say. We're in orbit around Bright Sea. I don't know if you've ever been.
I haven't had the pleasure.
Beautiful, mostly water, probably 95, 96% water with just a a few islands and sort of some jetties sort of bobbing around where people uh, divers and miners work, bringing up all the rocks to sell on other places. I met him in orbit there, uh, where he sort of came on a bit strong to our geologists, caused a lot of concern and fear in the group. You see, the thing is, there's something we know about him, and sometimes they say that the biggest story is worth pushing for, right? In any story, there's potentially a bigger story behind the story, right?
Oh, yes.
And sometimes in that, if someone in the initial story can lead you into the bigger story, then you do a bit better for the person in that initial story, right?
Okay.
There's things we know about your boy that I don't think anyone really knows outside of a few very specific uh, official people.
Is that so?
And this is something that could make an investigative journalist. I'm not saying you're not made already, but we always know that you're looking to become, journalists and reporters are looking to become the name on the front page, right? That big news on page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 13 story, the 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 extra pullout that comes, the one that gets you in on the TV shows for the next 3 months, the one that makes a name for yourself.
Yeah, I do know.
Now that makes the story of chatting to someone that's innocent of any crimes a mere trifle of a tale, even if I was there and saw the unpleasant stabbing of the man.
If I find someone who's innocent of any crimes, then I'll let you know.
Um, Thank you. I like to think I'm innocent of most crimes.
Hmm.
I'm sure you yourself have broken into a room or two, stolen an item, made something go missing when needed. Bent the rules to get a story, all for the name of journalism. A truly honourable profession, of course.
The good news is journalists are protected by their ability to defend their sources. It's like the seal of confession, it can't be shifted.
Hmm. If I was to become for you a source, then would there be some level of protection in that?
There is no way that I can stop someone asking you questions. However, I can refuse to reveal which bits of information I include in a story came from any of my given sources. And if they didn't know you were a source, I would never reveal your name.
Good. Um. So this man, Anton Fest, as you know, who I've heard from the news is currently in a sort of an accident and emergency hospital somewhere, recovering. They're not saying where, understandably. They're worried about the man getting murdered in his sleep, it seems. Not that that would happen, I don't think.
Well,
Um,
I probably didn't think he'd be stabbed in the throat just wandering through a club either.
you know, sounds like the man tried to poison someone, so it's not really surprising that these things
Hmm.
happen, I guess. But I got something that could potentially make the story bigger. There's something about him that would make your story the standout story. Your, of course, it would take an extra bit of boot leather, take a few extra steps, a bit of research and this and that. Maybe delve into some unexpected or unwanted stuff. But it would definitely mark you out as the premier journalist in this whole sorry affair.
You intrigue me. Keep going.
Well, the thing is, I know the position I'm in is not great right now, but I also know I've only got about 6 minutes left before I probably won't be able to speak to you again.
So, are there specific hints?
It depends. Is that there's an old saying like you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Is there anything that you could help me and my colleagues out with in exchange? Can we call on you for a favour? Can we ask of you if we need something found? Some old news delved back on. No questions asked, but no names mentioned, kind of thing.
Can you roll a persuade for me, please, with social or intellect?
Yeah, I will do. Thank you. Persuade with intellect. That'll be. I hope that's good, Ewan. You was typing the right things. I hope that's okay. I'm trying to get us things, Ewan. I'm planning for the future. It's dynamite, I tell you, dynamite.
It's all good. You do you.
Oh no! That's good though. 9 plus 2 is 11.
Okay.
Nice.
She says, I would certainly look favorably on a source of mine. Might be able to offer some quid pro quo, but also I might already have a couple of morsels of information that may or may not be useful to you.
Oh. Interesting. She looks at her watch again. It's okay. Bear with me a second, Ben. Let's take this out of time for a second. I just need to check the Baltic Star Encyclopedia.
You know it's serious when Luke goes to the encyclopedia. The old BSE.
The old BSE. Okay. I got a few bits of information. How about we could bat a few bits back and forward for a few minutes, if you've got interesting things for us as well. If I say something, if you think it's worth something, you can bat something back of an equal value. I'll bat it back again like a nice game of 0G tennis.
Okay.
Anton Fest, he's also known as Mattis Fest, right? If you're looking
I
for
did know that.
research. Cool. Do you know Zodani?
I did know that.
So I assume you know that he's psionic.
I did not know that. Though obviously such things are widely rumored.
We've seen it in action. We've experienced it ourselves. And he's used it in these areas, which of course it's illegal, of course, around these parts.
It is. Okay. That could be interesting for the purposes of a bit more digging in a story. Okay. I don't know to what extent this will be helpful to you, but just as a little piece that may be of use. I have been told by a source that the authorities are quietly searching for another possible suspect. They don't have any evidence, apparently, but this suspect has slipped through their net. They expected to be able to locate them. They now cannot do so, and they are not releasing this publicly.
Now that's interesting. And you can have this one for free. Because Anton Fess, just before it all kicked off, was on a phone with someone and told that person to get on and do what they were planning to do.
Interesting. This was just before the stabbing.
Mm.
That is interesting. All right. I've got one more piece.
Mm-hmm.
The authorities, according to one of my sources, are going to announce later this afternoon, possibly early evening, that all of the Team Maglo people who were struck with the suspected poisoning
Mm-hmm.
are expected to be released from hospital tonight, making a
Well,
full recovery.
that's very good news. That is very good news for them. I hope that I'd be worried about this random person trying to finish the job. Might be worth you sending one of your minions to keep an eye on them.
I don't really have minions.
Me neither. It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be lovely.
Is that all the information you're willing to give us for now? Because I have one more thing that I could give you in exchange for a future, I guess, a future favour.
I think that's all I can give you.
Okay. Would you be willing to take one more thing with a minute to go? I can almost hear them walking in now. As a future
Yes,
favour?
I would very much like to.
Okay. Anton Fess, the Zidani psionic, was a soldier in the Zidani Commandos. He was an agent involved in some serious, like, proper purge kind of stuff.
Okay.
I don't know how easy his records will be to find. But I've got it under really good knowledge that this is a guy that has some serious, like, kill people, no questions asked, no heart in him kind of stuff. Check him out. Have a look around, have a root around. There's more to this guy. I know people see him as some happy fish and rock guy locally, but he has a dark, deep past, which might be a dark, deep present.
Okay. That's potentially very interesting information. Thank you. There's really only one more thing I need from you then.
Mm.
I would like your official statement. A quote for a story.
Anything in particular?
Well, I feel as a journalist very strongly that this has to be your statement, not something that I give you, but something about how you feel about turning yourself over to the authorities, a protestation of innocence, perhaps, or something along the lines of a "you'll never take me alive" copper. Anything like that works.
I'll try not to go for the last one. The last one might not play too well in questioning later on. My name is Soraya Kansari, and I was at the Cascade on the night when Anton Fess was stabbed. I saw the man doing something suspicious. I called it out, and the man chased after me with murder in his eyes, and it felt like brutal intentions in his heart. So I ran. I ran for my life, and I panicked. In a moment to clear the bar, to make myself part of the crowd, I did let off a smoke bomb, and I accept it. But in this case, there is smoke without fire. But I was purely running for my life, quite frankly. And there is one man that stood and saw that I was in great threat, and he sprang into action. And I have no doubt he saved my life that night. And I'm glad that Anton Fess is alive. I'm glad that I'm alive, and I'm glad that Maglo, who I have nothing to do with whatsoever, from what I've heard of, are doing okay in hospital. I hope the race goes on well, and I hope that I can talk to the authorities and prove to them my innocence and fight to prove that my friend and my colleague did what he did in order to save my life.
Thank you. Are you confident that the authorities here will get to the truth?
Giikur is an enlightened and knowledgeable world full of educated people, and I think once they look at the footage with my commentary and me explaining everything they see, I think it will prove to them that I am an innocent, caught up in the wrong moment, who panicked and ran to get her head together before coming forward to tell the story of the truth.
Thank you. That's an excellent statement. And she glances up and says, and it looks like you now have an approaching fan club.
Well, looks like it's time for you to beat your retreat. Don't forget what I said. Get to the bottom of it, yeah?
I'll take it under advisement. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for yours.
She stands up and smiles at Sharp. Sharp is indeed approaching, flanked by two local security people. And as she approaches, Sharp says to the journalist, Saffron. And journalist says, amazing. I finally get to meet you face to face, and we're not even here to talk to each other. That's very disappointing. Hands her the sort of details of her communicator. I would be very interested in taking a statement from you for my story. And Sharp says, but I'm not all that interested in giving you one. Now, will you leave, or do I have to ask the security guards to move you on? And the journalist nods, smiles, and wanders off back towards the main road. And then Sharp turns to Soraya. Says, well, you're exactly where you promised you would be.
And at the time, and you're the time you said you would be.
Well, this is my job. And as I said, I would guarantee you're safe handing over to the authorities. So these two officers are here to take you into custody.
Mm-hmm.
And I will travel with you as far as the police headquarters. I'll make sure you're situated and we've got past any potential unpleasantness over weapons searches and things of that nature. Only once they're confident that they have you in a place that you can't cause any damage, only then will I leave, knowing that there will then not be any excuse for any unpleasantness, as promised.
Thank you very much. Appreciated.
Obviously, I have a certain amount of curiosity about the events at the Cascade and what happened subsequently. But I am a professional, so I am going to advise you right now that I cannot offer you any kind of confidentiality. Anything you say in front of these officers will be reported by these officers, and I advise you very strongly not to say anything of significance.
I very rarely say anything of any significance.
Oh.
Then we're definitely on the same page. Just a little hint. One of the areas that people often get into trouble, in my experience, is random protestations of innocence. Because when they're protesting their absolute innocence in things, they sometimes get a bit enthusiastic. And then when they later have to tell the story in a way that might prove plausible to an investigator, they have to go back on a couple of things they so blithely said they had nothing to do with, even if they're relatively minor. And those kind of inconsistencies can lead to a problem. So unless you're absolutely certain that what you're saying will never be contradicted by yourself or anyone else under testimony, I strongly advise you don't say anything until you are in a formal investigation setting. And then obviously you'll have all of your rights and presumably legal representation as well. Something else I advise you to get. Now, officers, please take Ms. Kansari into custody, and I will travel with her to the police station. And the officers step up. One of them says, "Do you have any weapons on you?"
Soraya nods without saying anything, removes the flechette pistol, hands over the bag which has her plastic explosives, the remains of the smoke grenades, the TDX, I'm not getting breaching charge in a minute. The frag grenades, the other weapons are not there, thankfully. She just sort of smiles and puts the gun in the bag and hands the bag over.
Two security officers are slightly wide-eyed. It's like, just this then.
No comment. And then she winks at Sharp.
Nice.
Good girl. They shoulder the bag and then flank Soraya on each side, point in the relevant direction, back the way they came, and say, "If you wouldn't mind accompanying us to the vehicle, we'll take you directly to police headquarters." And Sharp just falls into step beside Soraya and says, "Now, obviously, I'm helping the authorities in any way that I can, but that doesn't mean I can't look after your legal rights, make sure that you are being taken care of. So if there's anything I can do for you in line of things like making sure you get any special dietary requirements met or dealing with any medical issues you have, if there's anyone you need me to call on your behalf, I'm happy to do anything like that."
If you could call my there's a couple of people I'd like to call, if you could. I'd like to try and call my dear friend Agnar Ranson, let him know that I'm going into custody. I'd appreciate that. If you have a chance, I'd really appreciate if you could see if Officer Pramus of the Imperial Navy, if she comes back into the system, if you could give her a call.
Officer Pramus. Yes, okay, I can do that.
She's an intelligence officer on the Italia.
Okay. I don't think the Italia's in orbit at the moment.
That's fine. Keep the name in mind. If it turns up, it turns up.
Sure. I can always send a message through official channels. It may be a week or two before she gets it, but
that's fine. That's fine. That's all for now. I might come up with some more, but Agnar first and foremost. Let him know that everything's okay and that your date's still on for tomorrow.
Yes, thank you. I'll definitely do that. Just a few minutes walk out the other side of the main road, you find an aircraft bearing police markings, and all four people climb into the back. There's a separate cockpit, which seems to be the other side of an armored bulkhead in case you're transporting people who might be dangerous. And after the hatch is sealed, the craft lifts off and travels just for a matter of seconds, really, before it lands not far away the on the same peak on Pito, in a fairly large open courtyard surrounded by buildings. All these buildings turn out to be government buildings, and as Soraya is escorted down the ramp out of the back of the vehicle, she's taken into a police station and directly to a logging process where she signs a description form of the materials that were taken from her and confirms her identity and has her biometrics taken. And then she's taken through to an interview room and told to sit down. One of the guards remains in the room, and once she's settled in, Sharp says, "Right, I'll go and make those calls. I'll try to come back first thing tomorrow if you're still here, before the racing starts, just in case you need anything. Okay?"
Yeah, that'd be appreciated. Thank you very much. If I don't know what say I have over food, but if you could find your way to get me some cheesy balls and I'd imagine a non-alcoholic mimosa, that would be wonderful.
I'll see what I can do.
Thank you very much.
And she walks out. Though the door is closed, this is not a high security room. This is just an office room. And you can hear her voice explaining that she hasn't got the slightest idea what a cheesy ball is, but something that is either shaped like a ball or has cheese in it seems the way to go. And then a demand of some form of juice will do. I don't know what kind of juice. If you've got a good juice, give her a juice.
I'll take a good juice. That's very classy.
It is moments later that Agnar gets a call from her once she's stepped outside the building.
Hello, Agnar. No, that's me.
Agnar.
Go shoot for Agnar.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's Sharp. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay, thanks. How's I get the feeling you're calling me with news.
I am calling you with news. So really important things. The racing doesn't start for a few more days, but the second day of the preliminaries are usually widely televised, and they've opened up all the seats and the garrisoning and all the rest of it. So not tomorrow, but the day after, we should find our seats and watch the third of the preliminary races. If for no other reason than we'll learn how to get the best out of the systems and track the craft when they're moving at speed and all the rest. So we'll be ready for the race the following day. So that's the important thing.
And of course, some more Xixa time.
Absolutely.
Obviously.
So for that, you'll have to meet me at noon This is day after tomorrow on the main downport on Elia.
Noon. The day after tomorrow, which sounds like a film, if you don't mind me saying so. The main downport on Elia.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course. Not a problem.
Excellent. Now, on unrelated and much less important matters, I was asked to contact you just to give you a quick update on Soraya.
Yes, please do go
on. I've just delivered her to the police headquarters on Pito.
Delivered. She's a package. But no, sorry. Thank you. That is safely, I hope.
Very safely. She was intact and basically demanding to see the wine list when I left her.
Sounds about right.
I think she's going to be disappointed with the selection, but nonetheless, she's in reasonable spirits and reasonable condition. I'm planning to pop back and see her first thing tomorrow. And while obviously I can't get involved in anything that might even be remotely construed as criminal, I could probably get someone in to see her if you really wanted me to.
Are you speaking in an official capacity here, or are you speaking as somebody who we've had a very positive relationship with in the past? I can read between most lines, but I'd like to be clear here.
What I'm suggesting is that I will automatically be allowed in to see her, I'm pretty sure, unless they're in the middle of an actual torture session or something. And so if I were to bring someone and simply say this is a friend of hers, a colleague of hers, someone who maybe might be in a position to talk to her and convince her to be more cooperative, or at least to make her time more productive in custody. I can't imagine they'll say no. I can't guarantee you'll have any privacy either. They may well eavesdrop on whatever you say to each other, but if you want to see her, I'm pretty sure I can arrange it.
Of course, I appreciate that. I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure. Given the best of situations, I'm not sure what more I could do to convince her to be more cooperative. But also, to be fair, it sounds like she must have handed herself over. It sounds as though she's been quite cooperative so far. I think throwing a colleague into the mix would maybe just cloud the issue more than is necessary.
Okay.
Unless of course you think she's I don't know. Did she seem very? Did she have her back up a bit? Was she defensive, or does she seem okay? If she needs a friend, I'll be there.
She seemed all right, truthfully, relaxed and calm. I didn't see anything that would particularly alarm me. I suspect, having been through this a few times with quite a lot of different suspects, if she keeps telling the story the way she's telling it, if I were guessing, they're not going to believe her at all. But they're also not realistically going to be able to find much in the way of really damning evidence. So they'll probably find some way of trying to extract useful information from her, and if they can't, then they'll probably hand down a ridiculously obscene fine for doing reckless and silly things, and then kick her out.
That seems but it's difficult to say. I suppose that seems fair. I mean, you say telling the story. I have 100% faith in her ability to tell the truth in such a situation. I would argue the fact that it's a story, but I know what you mean.
I don't have any difficulty in believing she could tell the truth. I just have a grave amount of difficulty in believing she's going to.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. How much as a I'm not going to say colleague, that seems a strong word. As a friend, which is nowhere near as strong, obviously. As a friend, how much faith do you have in the justice system here on Gig?
Giikur is a reasonably civilized, well-ordered world. As a consequence, its authorities are not always the most efficient, but I think they're reasonably incorruptible. I have great confidence in their ability to do their jobs properly when cornered like rats and shouted at with orders.
See, now I'm getting mixed messages. Do you want me to show up and start shouting orders, or?
No, I think they'll only
They're gonna
really
be
take
okay.
the orders from their own superiors. I think.
Yeah.
Don't you know who I am?
I have met the investigator who's in charge of this case, and she strikes me as quite competent.
Well, in that case, I will. I'll pass on the meeting. Thank you. But if you could express the well wishes of everyone from the Baltic Star to Soraya. I'm not saying give her a hug, but if you could give her a hug, that would be.
Of course.
I think that would be much appreciated.
I mean, obviously, I understand if you're not going to tell me, but do you happen to know where I might find Stefan? Because I would like to be able to escort him also safely into custody.
Yes, I appreciate that, but no, I do not know. I will be honest with you. I get the impression that I had a phone call from Soraya before you did, and I did in fact relay that information that you would very much be an advocate for them and their safe delivery to the authorities. So I like to think that she came to you being well informed from me.
She did.
Nothing
She
to
contacted
do with
me.
But...
She asked me to facilitate her safe delivery. And I'm confident that's happened. She's being taken care of properly. I mean, yes, it's not nice to have your freedom taken away, even for a brief period of time, but it's being handled professionally and cordially.
And if I would have likewise, if I would have heard from Stefan, then I will advise him to do the same thing. I think relatively speaking, regardless of whether someone is guilty or innocent or facing, frankly, a lifetime behind bars, is better than no lifetime outside of bars.
I would agree. I absolutely do. Anyway, Let me know if anything changes. And until then,
Of course.
I will see you in a couple of days at Elia.
Elia Downport, 2 days' time.
Brilliant. Well, good afternoon to you. And she hangs up. And as she does, we need to cut briefly back to Soraya. Who's probably been in the interview room for about half an hour or so, eating the most plastic of cheese, which is the best they could do, and having a kind of fruit juice that comes across like a cross between raspberry and lime squash.
Oh no.
And while it's not undrinkable, the colour is horrible. And she walks in and gives a little nod, sits down opposite Soraya. Soraya Kansari, hope you're comfortable.
I tell you what, this is some of the best cheese and best juice I've had in a very long time. My compliments to whoever got it.
I'll pass that along.
Delicious, thank you.
So, obviously, you know why you're here, I'm sure.
I do.
Has no one told you?
I know exactly why I'm here.
Good. The reality is I have a few questions to ask you. I suspect we're not going to do some marathon length session. I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'll then go and update some reports. You can probably have a night's sleep, and I expect I'll come back and have more questions for you tomorrow. There are just a couple of really urgent things I need from you right now. Because public safety might be at risk. So just set your mind at ease. We are now not treating the poisoning in the cascade as being a life-threatening attempt.
That's good. I'm really glad to hear that for those guys. In the news, it looks pretty risky for a point.
It was concerning when we first encountered it, but over time it's become clear that that was not necessarily murderous intent, shall we say.
Fantastic.
So we're really only dealing with a few matters. The attempted murder of Anton Fess at the Cascade.
Mm-hmm.
A number of associated minor criminal activities. And in your case, we're really talking about the deployment of a smoke bomb in a crowded place.
Mm-hmm.
And the fleeing a crime scene by evading law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really our only two matters other than the stabbing itself. The stabbing, I'm going to have some questions for you, mostly about the fact that you identified Anton Fess as your target hours before you actually stabbed him. And I'm going to need to understand why you did that.
What do you mean identified him as a target?
You passed an image of him over the counter at the hotel you're staying at, requesting that people keep an eye out for that specific individual.
Yeah, because we were worried that he would come and cause aggro to our crew that are booked in.
No doubt. I'm not going to worry about those details.
Fine. If frivolities, I know.
Yeah, those will come to, I'm sure, in time, and I'm sure you will have explanations, and I will then run those explanations up against the statements and witnesses that we have. We'll work out which are plausible and which are not, and eventually we'll present you with a set of potential charges. You will decide which ones you're going to plead guilty to. We will take you to court on the ones you decide to plead innocent on, and justice will follow its inevitable course. You understand?
Ah, justice.
The issue, however, really is this. We have two outstanding matters which are matters of public safety, and I really need answers from you on those immediately.
Mm-hmm.
The first is the whereabouts of Stefan Miller.
I have no idea at all where Stefan Miller is.
That's disappointing.
It is disappointing because I love that guy and I hope for his welfare.
Okay. Just so you know, cooperation at this point could go a long way towards making your ongoing interrogation and future legal troubles easier.
I totally
In
agree.
essence, there is a point where we would have to suggest that if you cooperate in the matter of Stefan Miller, who is frankly known to be violent, then we might be willing to negotiate on many other things.
Can we talk about the other things?
I would be prepared to offer absolute immunity for both the evading justice and the smoke bomb.
What is the not that it makes any difference, I guess, but what is the what is the what would the what would the not the charge, what would I be looking at for both those two things?
We don't have any significant direct harm caused by the smoke bomb, but you would be potentially liable for some minor injuries as people panicked in the chaos of the night. Such things would likely be dealt with fines.
Mm-hmm.
As for fleeing justice, it depends basically on what you're fleeing justice for. In this case, you're fleeing justice following an attempted murder, which obviously raises the stakes somewhat. That could involve some prison time.
If I was fleeing justice just for the sheer fear of running from a man who I thought was trying to kill me, and that's not Stefan, by the way, but that is Fess, and needed to just sprint for it. And when I saw the news and saw what was going on, I called in and handed myself in willingly, which I think we can agree, right? I made the call. I put a place to be picked up from. I have handed over everything. I've not resisted anything, and I've come in to chat with you about that night at the Cascade. That to me doesn't strike me as the actions of someone that's evading arrest for something so brutal, but more someone that was terrified in the moment and needed that time to get things together and came forward to you willingly.
I mean, you may well be right. Without being silly about it, my job is to investigate the crime. I'm not really in charge of the prosecution and sentencing. That kind of thing it's a different part of the legal process. But I can negotiate to some extent on allowing you to slide on certain offences. But if you don't know where Stefan is, then you don't know where Stefan is.
I honestly, right now, I don't know where Stefan is.
Can I weigh in quickly? Sorry, just Luke, check your
Yeah,
DMs.
I have. I'm there. Sorry, I haven't clicked something.
Can you roll a deception for me, please, with intellect?
I don't know where he is.
That's not relying on the DM conversation that was
No,
had
and
out
can
of
you-
game.
I don't know where. I don't know where he is though.
And can you
I
can
know
have
where-
a boon for this?
I said I know where he was like a couple of hours
Because
ago, but I
you
don't know
very
where he
carefully
is.
expressed yourself in such a way that you have been telling the truth. However,
I only
you
told
and
the
I both know that you're actually lying through your teeth.
But I don't know where he is.
So what we're doing here is working out whether or not Sharp will differentiate the things we know that you could easily give her as clues, as opposed to the fact you are literally speaking, telling her the truth.
How many teeth is he lying through? Is she lying through?
At least one. No,
Yes.
What am I rolling then? You want me to roll deception plus what?
Deception, please, with intellect.
With boon, though.
With boon, yeah.
So that's useful. Okay, we'll see. That's a 6, 3, and a 2, 0, 0. So that's a 9, flat 9.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. She nods and says, all right, moving on. We have a second concern. A few hours ago, we were able to interview Mr. Fess.
Ah, yes.
And he, as I'm sure you might imagine, has a vividly different version of events to the one that I'm sure you're going to give me in detail.
He probably does. The guy's a good liar.
But there is one thing in particular that he mentioned. A member of your crew, who he says holds a personal and long-standing grudge against him. And curiously enough, that member of your crew does not currently appear to be in a known location.
Well, I'm assuming you know where Agnar is. You've been speaking to him.
We are talking about a woman called Zoe Hathaway.
Okay, yeah, Zoe, yeah.
Zoe is a member of your crew.
It's known.
She is allegedly staying in the Coronet Hotel.
That's where we booked into. I've not been in there for the last night, of course.
I understand. And we have been looking for her because Mr. Fess tells us that she might be able to help with our inquiries.
Okay. I've not.
She does not appear to be anywhere we can easily find her. So, once again, I have to ask, do you know where Miss Hathaway is?
I kind of wish I did. Zoe has been excellent for us. You've met her, of course, a number of times. Take care, Crit. You've met her a number of times. You've seen her in action. The woman is the most level-headed of all of us, really. She's smart. She's intelligent. She knows her stuff. She's exactly the person you want to keep a calm head, really. So I really wish I did know where she is. But since that night, I was with her that evening. She was one of us that was there. But since that moment, I've not seen her or heard from her since then. I'm afraid. Honestly, of everyone, I wish I did.
Okay.
And I really hope that she can be found because she's great, quite frankly.
Good. Right. Well, that has dealt with my immediate, urgent questions, shall we say. I've got some work to do. I have to oversee some searching to see if we can locate your 2 missing crew members.
Mm,
I probably won't be by to see you again until tomorrow morning,
that's okay.
at
They're
which
looking
point
after
I
me,
may have
okay.
some more detailed questions.
No, that's fine. I'm ready to share everything I know about that fateful night. I love an audience.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Very pleased to hear that. Just one thing, a sort of an aside.
Yeah, just one more thing.
Just one little thing before I go.
Of course, of course.
In general, we find it much easier to get the right answers, the really truthful answers, when we're dealing with a conspiracy, more than one suspect involved.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes much easier to cross-reference the things they say, and makes it possible for us to relatively easily expose any falsehoods.
Oh, of course. That's classic, right?
Accordingly, if you do know of a method that we can contact Stefan or Zoe, I'm prepared to make you this offer.
Okay.
If you get them to turn themselves into us, I will make the executive decision to interrogate you as a group rather than individually.
Mm. This is me making a note, not Soraya thinking. Well, all my stuff's been taken, all right?
Yes.
So even if I wanted to get in touch with Zoe and she answered, I couldn't right now. I don't know. Ask Agnar maybe. But if she ain't gonna answer, she ain't gonna answer, right? We can all keep pinging a call and find out. That's the most we can do. I'm not. Sadly, as close as we are as a crew, everyone is their own person, right? And I would love things to be cleared up, because even whether we're interrogated together or separately, I know that while our viewpoints may give a different flavour to the evening, the events themselves would show to be the same.
The investigator reaches into her pocket, pulls out your communicator, and hands it to you. If you want to make a call to either of them, do so right now.
Mm.
And that's where we'll call it for tonight.
Nice.
Can I quickly throw into what Stefan's doing, which is on his communicator? He's currently making notes for his memoirs, which involve his sneaking into a building site and making off with a hard hat and boots and a fluorescent jumpsuit, and it's entitled Stefan's Sneaky Masterclass by Stefan Miller. That's canon.
Fantastic.
I preferred his first memoir about him stealing a massive spaceship.
Yeah. I mean, it's all in the same book. It's just a draft at the minute. There's a long way to go. But yeah.
Are you going to go from the present to past so that it gets better and better as it goes along?
I don't know. I'm all about the non-linear timelines.
I like it.
Stefan is, I should say, not me.
How about you personally? Are you into non-linear timelines, Ewan?
Well, sometimes.
Depends how non-linear, I think.
Depends on the nature of the story.
Yeah.
Personally,
An occasional sort of flashback or, formative moment thrown up is fair enough, but it can get a bit wearing if they really break the rules and then forget that's what they're doing.
Yeah, or if you make too big of a thing of it, it's a little bit like you're trying to make a big thing of it.
Yeah.
Whereas,
on the other hand, if you do it well, I mean, one of my favorite ever films is a film called Memento.
Yeah, good, very good.
Which is entirely non-linear.
Right. And it twists who you think is on his side and who's not on his side, which is the best part of that, I think.
Perfect. It's just a wonderful film. If you get the DVD, my one is an old copy, but one of the things it allows you to do is to watch the film in linear order.
I've got that DVD, and it holds up, right? It's legit.
Yeah, it does.
It's that well written that it does hold up. That's cool.
It's a good film, even if you reorder all the things. Literally, should watch the whole thing backwards. It's still a very good film.
Good call.
Speaking of which,
I haven't watched that in years. I might watch that this weekend, actually. What a great film. Good call, Ben.
Fantastic film, that. Yeah.
Ewan, sorry.
When people know what the rules are and why you're supposed to follow them, then they can break them.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
A pleasure, as always.
And next week, we'll probably have some boating.
Oh.
Maybe a phone call.
Oh.
Possibly a phone call.
I'm more into the boating myself. I think we should forget all about the phone call.
I've heard that.
Let's do some boating. I'm a big fan of punting. Let's punt.
We should get hats for the.
We should, like the little sailor hats. Yeah, we'll find some good. Yeah,
boaters.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Hunt some down, Ewan. We'll cosplay for next week.
Full disclosure to anyone watching, it's probably not going to happen, but.
Probably not, but it might.
Well, some streams are hot tub streams, and next week our stream will be full of semen.
Voting. No,
I've ruined it.
You went one step too far.
Oh no!
You're just despicable
and
sometimes.
Banned on Twitch.
Yeah. See, I thought
we get 3 warnings.
The toast was bad, but or a couple of puns in the toast were bad, but that's worse. That's so much worse.
No, I liked the fridge magnet, etc.
Yeah, they were good.
It's very good.
You got plus points for your toast puns.
Yeah, very silly they are, but fun. Yes. So tomorrow. We think Ewan and I are going to be running, I think it's called Demons of the Deep.
Oh.
I'm good, because that was going to be my first question, Ben. We are indeed playing a fighting fantasy book, I believe.
We are.
Which may or may not be called Demons of the Deep.
I'm pretty sure it's Demons of the Deep. Irritating. I can actually see the side of it from where I'm sitting, but I'm looking at like the pages side rather than the spine, if you see what I mean. Yeah, but I think it's called Demons of the Deep.
But either way, it will be great fun, and we'll probably die quite moderately quickly.
We will almost certainly suck on an epic level. Yes.
Yeah. So it'll be fun.
It'll be great. It'll be great fun. They're always fun to do, and we will have a go, and then we will fail, because that's what we do. We have a go, and then we fail.
I don't think you've ever.
Sometimes those things are really close together.
You've never succeeded in one, right? I think you survived in one, but you didn't succeed in one.
We've survived a
couple.
Yeah. But we've never actually won any. And Scorpion Swamp was brutal because we died really early on, and then we said, actually, we've died so early on, let's pretend we didn't. Like, go back one choice, and then play out the rest of the book, and then we actually completed that one. So that one, we actually know that if we just made one better choice, we'd have done it.
And it wasn't even a dice roll choice. It's not like we made a choice, we went into combat, we died. We just made a choice and died.
Yeah.
And then we made the other choice, and we went all the way to the
Yeah,
end.
we just went to the wrong
Painful.
paragraph, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that was it. So yeah, I have no idea if we'll be able to defeat the demons of the deep. I mean, based on the title, it sounds like a lovely place.
Yeah.
It's tradition for
vibes.
me to walk home from where I've been out, put it on my phone, say hi, message
Yeah.
hi, I'm watching, and by the time I get home, make a cup of tea, you're dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it works.
It's generally
Tune
the
in for a few
tradition.
minutes.
Exactly.
I'm going to get
Please
home and
make
watch
some
you for a bit.
decisions.
Oh, yeah, you're gone.
They're dead.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
So if anyone's watching and wants a really nice, short, snappy stream tomorrow night, come and watch us. Join us at 11. By midnight, you can go do something else.
I'd love to argue with that, but I can't.
No, really can't.
It's the hard truth.
So yes, we will do that tomorrow night.
Mhm.
And with any luck, on Monday, Luke will be able to stream some more of the Kingdom Come Deliverance. I think I got that title right, haven't I?
That's 100%.
Yeah.
I'm still in my old job, so I can still get up silly late the next day. That's not a problem.
Brilliant.
Yeah, let's do some medieval stuff on Monday. It's fun. I'm liking it. Ben, you liking it? It's
Medieval
good, right?
Monday.
I think it's super game. Yeah,
Beautiful setting.
Yeah.
Right? Lovely setting.
It's not. It hasn't quite hit the top level yet, but it's early in the game.
We've just gone through the opening credits. We've just done the prologue, so
Yeah,
this is where it opens up now. So yeah,
very early.
yeah, cool. Very early.
So yes, I'm enjoying it thoroughly. I think the characters are fun. I think it's gorgeous to look at.
He's such a womanizer. I love how much of a womanizer he is. He's a lover, not a
Yeah,
fighter.
it is about a young, fit, handsome chap in an era where, let's be honest, women were not accorded every possible right.
It's true, but I'm trying to be a gentleman about it.
Yes, I mean, I think most people playing a game like that today would try to sort of live their lives
Play
as if
it
they
by
were,
modern
frankly,
standards.
a much more modern person than they could be.
Oh, this is too awkward. Oh my god. Oh, I'll take me out of this situation.
There have to be some people who play through a game like that going, no, I'm a bloodthirsty peasant.
Oh.
And those people are Luke.
How dare! How
apparently?
dare!
Well, I'm just going off of the vibe here. That's what I'm doing. No, they're not Luke. No, they're not Luke at all. Luke is the gent.
Luke is not the murder hobo type.
I put all my points into talking. I'm the literal definition of a lover, not a fighter. In that
that
case.
is true.
Well,
he is a bard.
It's always my philosophy that that if you're playing a computer game in particular, one where you have vocal choices, you've really got to invest everything in that, because that's where all the RP is. The combat is basically an arcade game, generally speaking. There are some exceptions where you have the games like Knights of the Old Republic, where you sort of the combat isn't an arcade game, because you can pause it and resume it and set up like sequences of moves and things while it's paused. So there it can be useful. You can actually make the combat like an extension of your characterization, the methods you use and the approaches you use. But for anything where once you're in combat you just have to live with it until you win or lose, that's not where the role-playing is. That's where the arcade game bit is. So the talkie is where the RP can be found, for me anyway.
Exactly. To get the things you want, you need to pass those talkie tests. So you need the talkie skills to pass the talkie tests.
Anyone in Torquay that's watching,
you need to pay the troll toll.
We're talking about you.
Yes. But to be fair, people who live in Torquay are often distracted by the herds of wildebeest sweeping across the plain outside their bedroom windows.
Oh, no.
Let's not disenfranchise too many people in one evening.
We're going to get a warning from someone from Torquay now. We only get 3 warnings and then we're off.
Oh,
that's 2 tonight.
Are those the rules?
Yeah, 3 warnings and then I think 3rd warning, you're gone.
Oh.
No,
I'm pretty sure you're allowed to actually mention towns.
Not Torquay.
Yeah, probably. Maybe not the plains and
the wildebeest.
Who knows? Mm.
Possibly not.
I guess on the wildebeest we should probably leave. We're just babbling on now. People need to go to bed, and when we log off, it'll just jump them to another video that they can enjoy. So everyone's a winner.
It's turning into the break all over again. Right.
It is.
I enjoyed
Yes.
that break.
Yeah.
That was a good break, though. That was my
Which is
all-time
was
favourite
great.
break.
I could do this with you guys
Strong
all
break.
night.
Oh,
Yeah.
But
Well,
other
we-
people, however.
well, we could go offline and do it for another 15 minutes at least. We'll have a cup of tea.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
But you lot can't join us. This is private time, so we're going to talk about you lot now. Right. Go do something else now. We're bored of you. Go. We'll see you tomorrow, yeah? Come on. Go, join us
Don't
when we
listen to
want
him.
you.
I'm gonna
Tomorrow
I'm gonna
night,
beat you up
Fighting
in
Fantasy. I think it's
private
called
chat.
Demons of the Deep.
Mm.
And thank you so much for coming along and joining us.
Love you guys. Thank you so much. We
Good night.
appreciate it. Good night. Bye.